Hi, it's Splinterverse. Welcome to another episode of D&D New Releases, the show where we talk about new third-party products for Dungeons & Dragons from both Dungeon Masters Guild and DriveThruRPG. We cover 20 new titles from each of those sites. This is not a review show, as we have not looked at any of these products in full, so please venture into them at your own discretion. We do include alphabetical links to all of the titles shown in this video in the video description. So if you want to help the channel, please use those links to purchase these titles. You can also support by purchasing one of our books, two of which are shown on screen right now, and those are also linked in our video description. Please subscribe and share the video as well. It helps the channel and all of the creators in today's episode. This week's episode focuses on titles released between July 16th and the 22nd of 2021. Also of note, there is a sale called Christmas in July going on both sites where titles can be up to 25% off. So a lot of the titles you're going to see today are 25% off, and all of my books are on sale as well. So please be sure to click the links below in the video description to take advantage of these sales. Alright, the first title we've got is Adventures of Panzoasia Volume 4, Halfling Rover. It's from Daniel James Hanley. It's the fourth in a series of modular supplements presenting reimagined character classes with variant rules and setting information for classic-style fantasy adventure games. So this is for OSR or BECMI. It includes everything you need to play the Halfling Rover character, such as a redesigned 14-level Halfling class, a large-scale map of the ultimate west of Panzoasia, easy-to-reference modified rules for the classic BECMI and BX systems, page of facts, popular names, setting integrated destinies for 9th and 14th level Halfling Rover PCs, class variants, descriptions of wondrous minerals, wondrous flora, and cross-compatible creature stats for the bipedal and seasonally dangerous fool hares of Panzoasia. So a lot of stuff packed into the 21 pages here for $1.50. Let's take a look inside. So some gorgeous art on the front here. And this is a series, they're doing one for each race from what I can tell. We've covered one of these before, and they got a nice little hex map. This reminds me of Mystara back in the day. So you get some information on Panzoasia, some changed rules that they're using, and then here's the class itself. Nice clean layout there. And then things to know about the halflings, typical names, starting equipment, and then here's their destinies. So variations that you can have. So let's take a look at some of these. The destiny at the 9th level. If upon attaining 9th level or any time after the Halfling Rover settles down into a predominantly Halfling community, they will be elected sheriff or head man. If they build a new Halfling community instead, it will attract D100 plus 50 new settlers of the Rover's alignment, who will confirm the character as sheriff or head man. If, however, the rover continues to wander, they will attract 1d4 first-level Halfling Rovers, who will become the character's companions and supporters. Cool. So, you know, this character is a rover, obviously, so they're moving around, and I guess they're getting rewarded for settling down. Let's read one more thing here about them. Find something here to say about the rovers. It says halflings generally dress in patchwork versions of the local costume. They often take pride in remembering how they obtained each individual scrap of their outfit. Halflings of the Ultimate West are also fond of tartan and check patterns. They are known for distinctive hairstyles with exaggeratedly large curls held in place with pomade. Some chaotic halflings even dye their hair pure hues of yellow, red, green, or blue. Halfling women often wear jewelry made out of coins and chaplets of flowers and foliage. So, nice clean writing, no grammatical errors, which is always nice, and I like that notion of patchwork, you know, getting into why they have this clothes, and that they can tell you the story of each little patch of their clothing. So even for an NPC, this sounds like an interesting option, and that might explain why they've got kind of this tartan look here on the side for this particular title. But it looks fun. I think this series is a good one. You know, I love the art, the portraits they're doing on the front. I don't know. Oh, it's illustrated and written and designed by all one person. So bravo for being able to draw and write. I wish I could draw. I can draw like stick figures and some stuff that you can recognize, but nothing quite like this. So it's nice to see somebody who's able to do the whole package, and so bravo Daniel James Hanley for that. And yeah, check it out, $1.50 to get this 21-page supplement on DriveThruRPG. Next we have Blood Lagoon from Necromancer Games. It's for 5th edition. It's on sale for $10.20, 26 pages, and it is a module. So, be set at sea, curse-infected pirates strike at the heroes from their caravel, lusting for the blood and valuables of their victims on the waves, desiring to spread their calamity abroad. Will the beleaguered adventurers repel the attack and root out the source of demonic piracy in these waters? Demonic piracy, that sounds interesting. You don't see that a lot. Blood Lagoon features sailing, broadsides, and boarding parties, cursed pirates, several hooks to help referees bring their player characters to the adventure, the island of the sea god's lament, to which any island, the lost lands, or in your campaign can play host, zombie pirates, a variety of monsters, and a curse to avoid, rum, refugees to rescue, and crazy fruit. So that's a lot of different fun things packed into one, and I'm sure you can use those individually. You know, maybe you just need some refugees to rescue or some zombie pirates. This book's got them. So it's recommended for 4 to 6 characters of levels 4 to 5, and it brings swashbuckling, cannon fire, infectious pirates, undead, and a chance to reverse a curse to your gaming table. So that's cool. You have to avoid this curse, and presumably, if these are infectious pirates, you got to avoid getting the infection as well. So kind of like the pandemic. So check it out here. Here's the inside. Oh, look at that gorgeous art. Very cool. And yeah, let's look through here. I love all this art. This is, you know, on the cover as well. Very nice. So let's see. Holy pilgrimage. The party's cleric or another holy person, such as a paladin, has been sent by their bishop to establish a temple in another country. On their journey, pirates infected with the curse of Dagon attack them. Documents aboard the ship point to the source of the curse being the Blood Lagoon. Okay, so this is kind of one possible hook to bring you into the adventure, which is nicely written there, and I can see where that would be cool, and it can give your cleric or paladin kind of feeling like they're the star, at least for the setup. And let's see here. By writ of the king, a powerful noble hires the characters to investigate raids on merchant shipping in the region of the Blood Lagoon. The characters are sent as a bait fish in order to incite an attack with the intent of taking a pirate I can't read that, it's too small. Pirate leader prisoner in hopes of learning the location of the secret pirate base. Ooh, okay, so you have a secret pirate base. Yeah, lots of stuff going on here with some gorgeous art. And looking at the table of contents, you know, they got the adventure kind of laid out very nice. They've got the map, and then information on the quarters, and then appendix with a bunch of new creatures. Yeah, so they've got 8 new creatures there. So I think this title has a lot to offer, especially if you're looking for, you know, something nautical, or even just maybe an infection or a curse. And it's on sale right now, guys, for $10.20. So look for Blood Lagoon down in the links in the video description. Click that, give it a chance. Helps me, helps the channel, helps this creator as well. Next we have Bloodmuse, Murderhobo Modern Art from Thought Police. It's on sale for $4.25 at 141 pages. Written by Rev Casey, Jim Liao, Yvette White. It says, Twisted Art. Venture into the world of Murderhobo Modern Art with Bloodmuse. Take on the role of semi-retired adventurers that use monster and beast cadaver materials to create gruesome avant-garde art. Well, that's an interesting take. I haven't seen anything like that. That's pretty cool, actually. Balance your art and adventures with a web of social obligations and managing your domain, a neglected but large neighborhood in a major city. Okay, so you've got domain management and this kind of art going on, and retired adventurers, which is cool. So already 3 very unique things about this title. Dive deep into indie film style noir surrealism, or take it to heights of silliness and absurdity. Explore what it means to be an epic hero, both the traumatic burdens and transforming into something more than mortal. Be ridiculous with gruesomely comedic art installations. Experiment and explore the possibilities of high-level shenanigans. So it includes a simple 3d6 motif-based system with deep results, an oracle for low prep, GM-less, and solo play. Okay, very nice. So I'm seeing so many things in here that are intriguing and interesting, and we haven't even looked inside yet. Intuitive, action-based, type-based traits, simple open-ended art and form and guild system, unique trauma approach to stress and injury with permanent knots. Call upon heroic inspiration and develop epic evolutions. Social web of titles favors debts. Domain trait system, fast, intuitive NPC templating system, also very nice. Robust play advice and guidance. Example city outline, numerous example NPCs, pre-gen characters, quick reference summarizing the main rules, and supports a broad spectrum of dark and surreal interpretations. So I like that as well. It's OSR, but there's probably stuff in here that can be converted to 5e if you're a 5e player, but OSR is pretty fun as well. And it says all future PDF updates will be included in the purchase. That's nice. Don't forget that's true of all titles. They can be updated, so check your updates. But it's nice to know that they're going to specifically be doing that on this title. It says it uses the motif framework, and there's a motif story engine. So I'm guessing you don't need that to play it, because typically they would list that if you do. So let's take a look inside. So you've got your characters in the system, yeah, so it's showing you how to make your artist, and then you've got some guild information, trauma, inspiration, debts, and then here's the play segments, and some different character templates, very nice, play advice, example city. I mean, this is a lot of pages, right? 141, so lots to get inside of this book here. Pre-gen characters, character sheet, domain sheet, and quick reference. So I like it. So content warning, so read that if you may have some sensitivities. So it says your artist is a seasoned adventurer. Character creation is relatively simple with some straightforward point shifting and filling in a few blanks. So wild or absurd name, over the top of minor title, rebalance your key traits, and choose a main art form. So lots going on, but it's all fun. Here's some default flavors: absurdity, how silly or surreal; cool, how cool or hip the answer or context is. So kind of mixing it up here, giving you some different kinds of traits than you would normally get. And you've got a membership guild, and then some sample guilds here. So we're getting to see 61 of the 141 pages, so quite a lot. They have a whole gaining and losing trauma here. +1 trauma, general embarrassment, rejection, failing in conflict on supply runs, assassination attempts, reminders of severe past trauma, getting suckered, weak attendance at opening or public event you sponsor, general misfortunes that cause acute personal pain. And then there's inspiration. So, I mean, there's a lot to see here. Unfortunately, we can't go through all of it in this video, but, I would encourage you to come look through this. There's 61 pages available to see out of the 141, so look for Bloodmuse in the video description and get over here and check it out. And again, $4.25 instead of the normal $5. So now's a good time to purchase things on your wish list. Purchase these titles, support all of these creators, support the channel, use those links below. And again, if you buy anything from those links below, you're supporting the channel, even if it's not the book you clicked. Alright, Book of Beasts, Slayer Codex for Pathfinder from John Brazier Enterprises. It's $3.95, and the author is Dale McCoy Jr. Intelligent melee fighters and deadly ranged combatants. Do your PCs need to hire a tracker that can deal serious damage? Does your upcoming session need someone that can bring the pain to the toughest members of the group utilizing unexpected tricks? Are you seeking ideas for the terrible power at the end of your campaign? The Book of Beast Slayer Codex has what you need, arming game masters of the first edition of the Pathfinder role-playing game with the following: 20 ready-made Slayer characters, one for each level of play, tactical combat recommendations for every character helping you quickly, effectively run an NPC in a fight, personalities and details to give you ideas on how to use the characters both in combat and in role-playing, and then populate your campaign with the exact character you need. Look at this art. John Brazer always has nice art in their publications, and see some of the other ones they've got down here. Book of Beasts is a series they've got going on for Pathfinder. Let's take a look inside. So typically good art here inside their books. So it's the 4th installment in their Character Codex series, but I'm assuming, they're standalone. You don't necessarily need to have the other ones. As you can see already, look at all these stats that you get. So we've got a pack tracker, an alchemical specialist, a special operative, and a poisoner, secret keeper, young anarchist. So those are some cool templates or NPCs. Kobold trap setter, fugitive hunter. So it says half of the NPC races are from the Pathfinder core rulebook, and the other half are from the Pathfinder role-playing game advanced race guide or other books. It's the first entry in a line of full BAB non-spellcasting class. This Ranger Rogue hybrid class is one the author played only a few times before starting this book, so coming up with 20 new characters means he had to play a whole lot of Slayers rather quickly. So interesting, dove deep into this, and learned a lot about Slayers, it looks like. But yeah, very full stats here. Let's see if we can get a little bit of flavor to read for you. It says Reginald Wendarian. When he's not being an insufferable bore and embarrassing the entire Wendarian house, Reginald attacks adventurers hired by his family in the hopes of deterring them from supporting the system. Okay, so you get some little background to go with your NPCs, but lots of stats. Pathfinder has a lot of stats, so you need these. I mean, I think compared to 5e, you got a lot of stuff you gotta make here. I mean, some of it's the same, but there's a lot more numbers and things to prepare. So having prepared NPCs is always a good thing in pretty much any version of Dungeons and Dragons, but I would assume it's especially helpful in Pathfinder. So I encourage you to click on the link for Book of Beasts Slayer Codex and check it out. Next, we have CreatorWorks Classic Monsters, rules for playing a modern gothic punk horror game using 5e rules. It's 61 pages at $12. Something is out there in the night, and that something is you. This book contains rules for playing classic monsters in a modern gothic punk horror setting using 5e. Rules for vampire, werewolf, ghost, and golem, a la Frankenstein's monster, are included, with rules for additional classes such as mummy and monster hunter coming soon in separate supplements. Includes skills, backgrounds, tools, weapons for use in a modernized setting. So let's take a look inside at the 61 pages, but it's got that universal monster feel if you like those old school, Dracula movies. This book is going to have kind of that feel for you. So it looks like it goes into the vampire, werewolf, ghost, golem, mortal, and then backgrounds, race, wealth, skills and tools, armor, weapons, merits, and flaws. So it's got that wizard's kind of style appearance, which is helpful. Some nice art there, and then here's the vampire. So you're playing as the vampire, which is nice. You get to play, you don't always get to play that. And so you get to see 6 of the 61 pages here. You get to see most of the vampire. It says, eat food. Red-blooded vampires can eat and digest food as humans can, though they must still drink blood to fully benefit from a rest as described in the thirst feature. Starting at 3rd level, however, if a vampire consumes anything other than blood or magic potions, they immediately vomit it back up. There's a merit that you can take called Eat Food to mitigate this. So very cool. And it's got all the hit dice information, proficiencies, pretty much everything you would need to get started. Blush of Health, you can spend 1 blood die to cast an alter self change appearance without components to look like yourself as a living healthy human. Nice, okay. So you're getting that kind of feel of like a vampire that can play tricks on your eyes and maybe entice you. So very much that feeling of being a monster. Yeah, and it's got a whole section on the thirst here. So yeah, if you're a fan of the Universal Monsters, or you just want to have a gothic good time, I think this title is for you. And it's on DriveThruRPG, so check it out. Next we have the D13 Tribes of Vacuum Nomads with a very fun little cover here, like that kind of retro newspaper look a little bit there. Less Than Likely is the publisher, 12 pages with a suggested price of $1. Pay what you want. And it says the major winds of the Red Planet have all dissipated, the minor ones forming local climes and hermit breezes in an ever-present vacuum. Some remain bound through brute force or ancient contracts. A few winds roam the dead plains as poisonous ill winds or sandstorms. Fewer still travel with bands of vacuum nomads. While the citizens of the Canal States do their best to ignore the emptiness next door, the vacuum nomads embrace it. They form mysterious tribes traversing the silent landscape of a dying planet, bent on bizarre undertakings and moved by peculiar ethics. It's a mini-zine reskinning the classic bandit of random encounter table fame, turning him into something else. Should work with any level-based adventure games in the classic tradition. So this is for OSR, but maybe there's something in here you can adapt if you play other versions. So yeah, nice clean layout, like the black and white line art they've got going on, very reminiscent of other OSR, official titles even. So you've got spell descriptions he's talking about here, or she, I'm not sure the pronoun of the author here, or some other pronoun. Though created to populate the Great Vacuum, these D3 tribes should be fairly easy to spirit away from their Red Planet surroundings, either as nomads crisscrossing the wilderness around one lost city or the other, or as strange warrior mystics. So the empty skies of the Red Planet, tribal attire, all kinds of good stuff. So the members of the tribe wear, and then this is the table here, layer of thin veils moving as if underwater, crusts of glittering mud made from rare earths, and slowly dwindling supply of ancient wines, practical no-nonsense clothing, etc. So nice little table there. They travel following outdated maps, or carrying great jars of blue clay, or with a herd of horse-sized flightless birds. So, and are currently playing for their tribal wind, smoking, drinking age-old teas, or their chief is arguing with the tribal wind, the children cry. So you get kind of you get to roll through these tables and find out what's going on with a particular tribe. They worship their patron, the Empty Lady, or the Mineral Mirth, who demands that the tribal song never ends even for a moment, or the commingling of disparate bloods, or the shrouding of all hands. So lots of flavor in here if you're looking for, some interesting retro, Mars stuff. I think this could be really fun. Even just maybe some strange planet. It doesn't have to necessarily be Mars. You could have some of this going on. So yeah, come check out the 6 pages here out of the 12. You get to see half the book, and it's pay what you want. So very good option for you. So look for D13 in the links below. Next we have Deadly Waters from Adventure Bundles. It's a level 4 adventure, and it's got exploration, a little bit of combat, and a lot of role play. And it is $4.99 for 24 pages. 5th edition compatible. 𝙎𝙤𝙬𝙧𝙬 is a small town built in and around natural springs. Since about 1 month, there has been a mysterious disease spreading among the population. Some people only experience fatigue and vomiting, while some other unlucky ones even die. The people are afraid, mainly because it appears to be spreading randomly. There have been cases of people from the same households getting infected and others where only one family member got it and died. This does not sound familiar at all, does it? As we live in this pandemic world. So, we're seeing the theme today. There's always sort of some conscious theme. We had, Blood Lagoon earlier with the infection stuff. Now we've got this. So you could have sort of a, and this is also water related. It's got deadly waters. So you could play Deadly Waters and Blood Lagoon together maybe and have sort of this nautical water infection campaign, which could be cool, And it's interesting to think about combinations that maybe people haven't seen or heard of. Really get your players excited if you're a DM. Because again, players have choices on the tables they choose to sit at. So, if you can do something unique and different every once in a while, it might help retain some of those players, because that can be a struggle to keep your party, keep your players coming back. Suspects exist aplenty, especially in a town as Highlandshire, which sees a steady influx of visitors. The local cleric is new in town and has been acting strange and overzealous. There's talk about the tavern being in the middle of things, and the traveling circus, which arrived at the city almost at the same time as the first infection appeared. So, okay. So you have a traveling circus, which, could be a carnival from Ravenloft. It could be even the Witchlight from the Wild Beyond the Witchlight coming out here in September. So some interesting options here, even connecting to a carnival. It says the party will have to investigate as many possible suspects to get to the truth, which will be more surprising than anyone in the city has thought. It's the third adventure, from this group, and they've released quite a few. We had one of their titles, I think, a couple weeks ago. So let's take a look inside. And again, I love that they do this little icon thing on the front to kind of give you an idea of what to expect. And I do like that it's high on roleplay, and it's not always this configuration. I've seen their titles, they have varied levels of combat, exploration, etc. So solve the mystery of a deadly disease. So again, it ties into what we've talked about with Blood Lagoon earlier. And this is a really cool map. I like the figures they've got here. Very, very nice. Wonder who did that. Let's see, cartography, Andy. Okay. It's going to be hard to find you, Andy, if we want to hire you with the just a first name. So, but maybe Andy doesn't want to be found. All right, so they've got all kinds of good stuff in here. They've got flavor text. So you can see all 24 pages. So really no reason not to check this out. Oh, look at that gorgeous map. Okay, so yeah, lots of flavor text to go through. We're going to read some of that in a minute, but more gorgeous maps here. So very cool. And then you've got your monsters at the end, and then some items, and they've got pictures of all the items. We'll read one of those as well. So very clean layout. I really like this. So let's read the Ring of Faces. This golden ring is engraved with runes and carries sapphire stones as decoration all around it. Putting it on a finger, the wearer is subjected to the disguise self spell. The disguise is a random humanoid at the DM's discretion. The effect lasts for the duration of the spell or until the ring is taken off of the finger. The ring then has no powers until the dawn of the next day. That's kind of cool artwork. So yeah, they did a good job with all of that. Yeah, they're very professional coming out of the gate. They've had 3 titles recently, all of them looking very well done with great art, and I think really good premises as well. So let's take a look at the some of the flavor text in here. They've got a little map of people, it looks like, in relationships. So we'll find one of the flavor text box to read to you. Alright, next, the Snake Woman. You see a woman wearing only the bare necessities, a cloth tank top and leather trousers which are torn and stop just above the knees. She sits by the river on a rock, and as you approach she makes a swift movement, shoots her hand in a nearby bush and pulls out a small rodent. She turns your way with it in her mouth, taking a big bite. Her eyes are slitted and scales can be seen on her legs and arms. You nearly interrupted my hunt. What does a party of adventurers want from Nexus? So very cool little snake woman character. Again, there's this whole circus, right? You've got this little setup here and all this stuff going on. So, could tie in with the Carnival and Ravenloft, or the Witchlight and Wild Beyond the Witchlight, or even just, be a rival carnival to those. So I do think this title has a lot to offer you. And yeah, check it out. Look for Deadly Waters in the links in the video description. Next we have the Doom District of the Gilded 𝙤𝙤 by the Bugbear Brothers for $2.99. It's system agnostic but compatible with Dungeons and Dragons. It is 36 pages. It says the Crown's capital is in a state of disarray. A new pathogen has appeared in the city and has begun ravaging the mercantile district, leading to a quarantine order from the king himself. Intel gleaned from within the affected district traced the disease back to the noble 𝙁𝙗𝙗𝙗 death at the opium den a week prior. So, I don't make this stuff up, guys. We got already 3 titles that have something to do with infection this week. So there's always some sort of subconscious theme, people working on stuff independently and releasing it at the same time, collective consciousness, I don't know, but it's cool because I think that really helps, dungeon masters maybe pull some stuff together from different publishers and create a whole campaign around this stuff. You could even maybe have a class that is focused on, being like a doctor or physician kind of thing, maybe, or a plague doctor situation coming in and partaking in some of these adventures. But we've seen 3 now today that have infection related stuff, and I think that's awesome because you can stitch that together and have a very memorable, unique, one of a kind campaign. So very, very cool. Let's take a look inside here. Got kind of gory cover, but it's nice art for that. And the writers are Daniel Anderson and Cameron Foster. I like their logo as well. So it says the Doom District of the Gilded 𝙤𝙤 is a self-contained module. It can either be used as a follow-up or deployed as a standalone. It's designed for a party of 5th to 7th level characters, and we recommend that the DM review the adventure before running it, and that's true with all modules. And so this one's 5th level. The last one we just looked at a moment ago was 4th, so you could go from the 4th with that carnival and the infection stuff going on right into this one if you wanted to do that. So let's look. You get 10 of the 36 pages. Also some very nice maps in here. So let's go back up and read a little bit of this. This is a viral rage. As the heroes wander the city, they hear a cacophony of screams and deep feral moaning coming from up ahead. As they approach, they see what appears to be a group of 3 stalwart adventurers engaged with 6 infected elves. The infected will collapse and die after 1d10 rounds if they have not been killed. So the infected is an enemy that they have to battle here. Very cool. Lots of different things happening in this little town. Yeah, I see a lot of options for this. I like what they're doing here. So let's look at some of the adventure hooks. The presence of this new gold-producing virus is an anathema to the 𝙬𝙗𝙗 banking guild, as it threatens to devalue the world's currency that they so tightly control. The heroes have been offered 10,000 gold pieces to eradicate the virus completely. So this particular virus creates gold. Okay, cool. So, you could even have sort of this major thread if you played all 3 of these together. That's like, what deity or force is causing all these diseases and plagues and infections to crop up, from Blood Lagoon to, the adventure we just looked at in this one. Maybe there's some behind the scenes big bad that is bringing diseases everywhere, so you could play all three of these modules and then, reveal the big bad behind it. And we'll see, maybe we'll have other infection related titles this week, but already 3 on DriveThruRPG. So look for Doom District of the Gilded Lung in the links below and click on that. And then next we have the Fallen Crown for an adventure for 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬 Grim and Perilous RPG. So it's by Rory Hoffman, Tyler A. Thompson. It's a 5-level adventure taking place in a city-state 𝘎𝙬𝙬, which takes players from level 3 to 8. A military coup by a malicious and deranged colonel against the popular legitimate leader. Trouble in the streets as enforcers abuse their power to keep the populace in line. A mysterious plot that ravages the city. And a conspiracy to weaken and taking down the illegitimate oppressive dictator. The city-state of 𝘎𝙬𝙬 needs heroes, lest it fall victim to the darkness being harnessed by those that seized its walls. So you've got some political intrigue, and it's obviously, OSR with 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬 here, Grim and Perilous. It's also from Sadfish Games. So you've got some nice art. Here's a little market, it looks like. You get to see 17 of the pages in the book. I'm not sure how many pages are in the book. I'd have to look when I'm outside of the preview here. But yeah, nice. It looks like this is the entirety of the adventure, so it might be just a little bit more than 17 pages here, which is good. You don't need more than that necessarily to get your adventure going. So you get some background on the town. Let's look at the little plot hooks here. So, wrong place, wrong time. The party was simply passing through the city-state to stock up before moving on with little or no knowledge of 𝘎𝙬𝙬. Or Whispers of Power. A player character with ties to an academic institution has sent word that they have found evidence that there could be ancient ruins underneath this thriving city-state of 𝘎𝙬𝙬. The sources are unverified, so they've sent the party to see if there's any truth to the words. Right, so that's another hook to get you started. And then they've got the important places, important people, and then part 1, lockdown. You enter the great city-state of 𝘎𝙬𝙬, the crossroads between so many places, known for its great market and high standard of living. The streets are clean and strangely quiet, though you have just entered the outskirts, passing through the walls mere minutes ago. Behind you, a brigade of soldiers marches in, and then out of sight, their footsteps echo in the quiet streets. Suddenly, a woman flies around a corner, a dark cloak whipping behind her as she pelts toward you. A sharp wave of her hand and a mirror image of herself appears running next to her. As the two figures approach you, the real one bundles her cloak and shoves it into a bag at her side, standing next to you and turning to face the way she had come from. Half a second later, a haphazard group of soldiers pounds out of the same alley the woman did. They regard your group for a moment, but seeing the false image of the woman fleeing farther down the street, ignore you and run after it. Once again, the deserted street goes quiet. So you've got this interesting mirror image stuff going on, trying to hide something, and could be very cool adventure here, kicking off with starting with a bang. She's running through the streets. Sorry for my botched reading of that. It's just the italics and this, the sample file stamp, which is important to have on there, sometimes makes it hard for me to read. It's not the writing. It was actually good there. All right, so lots going on, and this looks like you could even use this, with all the little details of these locations. You could use this, as a base camp starting point for some other adventures. 𝘎𝙬𝙬 has some detail in it here. So lots of stuff to see, like the borders, like the art. Yeah, it looks fun to me, so check it out on DriveThruRPG. Next we have the Fallen Golem, an old school games adventure, 16 pages at $2. It's a simple quest. Head to the remains of a giant golem that recently surfaced. Go inside, retrieve the powerful gem that once powered the behemoth, and get out alive. Should be straightforward and easy, at least that's what the wizard said. Never trust a wizard. A giant metallic golem was recently uncovered during an earthquake, and rumors have gotten back to a wizard that a powerful gem lies within. He's looking to hire a crew to retrieve it. Should be simple, but probably is not. You know how wizards are. So it's a 16-page adventure in zine format, suitable for any OSR. And yeah, it's by Matt Jackson. So let's take a look inside here. Very cool. OSR compatible. Nice little maps going on. And easy to read font. So, and it says getting to the golem. Alright, so you get to see 3 of the 16 pages. So the golem lies about 6 hours on foot or horseback from the nearest village or town. The trail to the golem is in disarray, and due to the remoteness is quite difficult to get to. Following the quake that exposed the golem, the earth has been washed away from recent storms, and the golem now stands upright, exposed from the knee up, surrounded only by a lush forest. Any character can see the golem's right eye is dangling out of the socket, and might be used as an entry point. However, the eye socket is now almost 200 feet above the forest floor and will require climbing to access. So, there's some fun stuff here with this mechanical golem, and having to climb and get this gem of power, which is trademarked. And here's, it looks like the maps for the golem, maybe, or a nearby area. I'm not sure, but I do like the typography. Yeah, looks like they've got a fun idea here with a giant golem to explore. You don't see that very often, and I like the kind of zine style, especially since it's OSR. It gives you that feel like you're back in the day with this. So come check this out. Look for Fallen Golem in the links in the video description. Next we have Gods of Sundara, 5th edition compatible from Azucale Games. It's on sale right now for $3.99. That's a whole $1 off, guys. And it's 29 pages. There are 1,000 faiths across the world of Sundara, and each congregation believes they have been given a glimpse of truth that lies behind the material world. They have heard the voices of the gods, and they do their best to carry out the will of these deities. Some few followers are even filled with the power of their gods, allowed to take a small fragment of their energies to go out into the world to work their gods' wills. Beyond the material plane lies the Prim, the realm of magic, and the place where those who call themselves gods dwell. These beings are many. Some are great, some are small, and some appear to mortals in different guises, wearing different faces. The pillars of their belief always shine through, though, and while their servants might know them by different names and exalt them in different tongues, there is one truth that all in Sundara know. The gods are real. So it's an introduction to the cosmos of Sundara and how it differs from traditional fantasy RPGs. It can be used with other games, not just Sundara. So adjusting to the cosmos without alignment, 10 gods as a sample pantheon. So let's take a look inside. So, Cities of Sundara is something we've looked at before. It looks like a fun setting, very cool. It's basically, from what I've read before, it's like the golden age of the civilization, and rather than having the golden age be in the past and sort of forgotten magics, it's actually happening now, which I think is a fun take on things. So this would be more in line with that. So you get to see 5 of the 29 pages. It says, the 1,000 faces of the gods. In fantasy RPGs, it is common for gods to have unified appearances, mythologies, churches, and messages or holy texts that are the same across the entire setting. From huge cities to backwater hamlets across a dozen nations and species, the same scripture is read, and the same lessons taught to all followers of particular gods. These deities are always the same no matter what culture, location, or creed their worshippers are drawn from. This is not the case in Sundara, so they're deviating from that, which is nice. While there is an overarching pantheon of major gods presented here, there are also innumerable minor gods, ancestor spirits, strange outsiders, and other entities that may act as conduits to the Prim for followers willing to become their loyal agents. Even powerful gods who command the faith and favor of nations and armies will not appear the same across the board, while the core tenets of a god's worship, referred to as their 5 pillars, will shine through in any true faith. The pageantry, myths, and other aspects of the religion will change to suit the nature of the culture of a particular group of worshippers. So I like that because, you think about religion in the real world, right? There's a lot of variance on certain religions. It's not all just the same across the board, across the entire planet. So why would it be any different in a fantasy setting? So I like that they're mixing it up a little. And you could probably read this and apply it to some gods from official Wizards of the Coast pantheons if you wanted to, mix it up and take some of these techniques so you could get some value out of this book beyond the pantheon and techniques here. You could apply them elsewhere. So I really like that, and it's on sale for a whole $1 off right now. So look for Gods of Sundara in the links below. Next we have LFG Class Pack Gaslight Characters Volume 1, and it's from Bearwood Press, author David Bearford. $3, 17 pages. 5 Victorian-themed character classes compatible with the low fantasy gaming system, ready for your Gaslight setting. It includes the Bludger, a thuggish, strength-based rogue who has the expertise to survive on the merciful urban streets. And the Libertine, the hedonistic socialite whose beautiful appearance remains magically uninjured and youthful as long as a certain painting stays safe. So very Dorian Gray there. The unlikely hero, an innocent drawn into the plot, seemingly a fish out of water, but surprisingly capable despite their apparent unsuitability for adventure. I like that sort of trope of, I've stumbled into this adventure, but somehow I'm quite capable. Because you see that in movies, where it's just like, how does this person even punch correctly? Because it's just not that believable. But it's fun. It gives you a laugh, right? That it's just so different, that this person, and also fish out of water, as a writer, I can say fish out of water often is the audience's opportunity to relate to what's going on, because for example, a movie like Marvel's Avengers, right? If you have a fish out of water character thrown in the middle of that, they can maybe say things that the audience is thinking or experiencing, because the audience doesn't work with the Avengers on a daily basis, and unless they work for Marvel Comics, I guess. So they would experience the Avengers and relate that similar to how the average person in real life would. And so fish out of water characters can be a really cool lens to zoom in on things happening. So this is compatible with OSR here. Let's take a look inside. You get to see 3 of the 17 pages. So it's talking about the Libertine, I think, here, Mysterious Portrait. So yeah, you have in your possession a mysterious and magical portrait of yourself, which somehow absorbs the injuries and abuses that would otherwise occur to your physical body. Wounds disappear from your body and appear as scars on the portrait of you instead. Very nice. I like that. Yeah, Social Butterfly. You are well known socially and can expect to be welcomed in polite society, invited to the most exclusive parties, and generally rub elbows with the powerful and well-to-do. However, you also enjoy several flavors of private depravity and know the best dives and pleasure houses in the lower districts as well. You gain advantage on gather information and general lore checks as everyone confides in you to gain your attention. So cool. I like some of the stuff that's going on here for these characters. So here's a resurrectionist. You are a resurrectionist, a grave robber who digs up fresh corpses and delivers them to shady doctors who use the bodies for science. Your trade is in a legal gray area. Bodies are not legal property, and therefore resurrecting them is not stealing, though the deceased friends and relatives might think otherwise. Okay, very interesting. grave sense at the second level. You spend so much time in the graveyards and cemeteries that while in such locations you have advantage on all stealth and detection checks. Enemies trying to ambush you and in such places suffer disadvantage even in low light conditions. You may also spend an action to detect undead, including their direction within 120 feet for 2d6 rounds. So this says OSR, but it also says Dungeons and Dragons. Some of that text makes me think it might be 5th edition compatible as well. Author, if you're watching this, I would add that to your text if it is, and maybe even over here if it's 5th edition. Because some of that text did seem like it, but I could be wrong. In any case, it looked fun, and there's a lot of Gaslight Victorian options out there, or not a lot, but there are some strong ones out there, I should say. So this could fit right in with that. I mean, I'm reminded of a number of films and stories like Dorian Gray, so you can kind of bring that in with these classes, and I think it'd be fun to play some of these classes. So check it out under LFG Class Pack in the links below. Next we have Lost Lights 5th edition player guide from SideQuest Press. It is 70 pages and it's 0, so you can get this for free. So no reason not to go to the links below and click Lost Lights. It's got 2 5-star ratings already. It's a new and different campaign setting compatible for both 5th edition and Pathfinder 2nd edition. It spans 2 primary continents, one populated by scattered societies recovering from a millennia-long war between now-vanished celestial overlords, the other dominated by a vast techno-theocracy trying to cope with the recent absence of gods previously known for their hands-on guidance. Oh, okay, so that's an interesting setup. I like both of those sort of continent setups. So this is a different and unique inspiration. A shared desire to create a setting influenced by the mythologies of our Middle Eastern and Latin American backgrounds led to the writing of Lost Lights. Very cool. The setting isn't just another retread of real-world cultures masquerading as fictional ones. Our setting is inspired by these backgrounds, but we've taken the opportunity to create something new. So I like that they've got something new going on. Like I said, they've got this techno-theocracy dealing with their gods that used to be hands-on and now they're not there, and then overlords that are battling in a millennia-long war. So already sounds very different. Let's take a look at the inside. Ooh, nice map right out of the gate here. Both continents, and then some really nice layout and artwork. So you're getting to see 6 of the 70 pages. But again, this title's free, so you can get the whole thing. I need to get this as well. So yeah, look at that. Very cool. It's meant to introduce you to the Lost Lights campaign setting and give you the tools to create a character and play with it using the rules from the 2nd edition of the world's coolest playing game. So that would be for Pathfinder. But it includes both rules. So this is for everyone who would like to enjoy it, whether it's your idea of fun to play in a gas punk theocracy, a wild railroad expansion, a society of high magic with floating islands and chasms that go to the planet's core, or a war-torn region of bloody and gritty struggle. And there's something for you here. So, very cool. Yeah, and I would definitely, authors, if you're watching, I would extend the preview a few more pages because it is free, and I think what you have here is gorgeous, but I'd love to be able to read a little more just for the audience here. But let's take a look and see if we can read some of this. So it says, the one church wields immense influence in the daily lives of hegemony citizens. It controls information and its gas-based technology, allowing the general populace to see and hear only what it deems appropriate. It is violently protective of military technology, limiting knowledge of its operation to the church itself or through limited contact. I mean, everything I'm reading here sounds really interesting and different. And it's free, guys. I mean, you can't beat free. So find Lost Lights down below. Come back and get it. I'm going to click on it so that when I'm done recording this, I can get this. All right. So Multiclass Feats. Feats for every multi-class combination in 5th edition by Peter Martin. Purple Martin Games, $7.49 for 30 pages. Multiclassing is fun in 5th edition, but it can feel a little incomplete or stitched together if you get off the most well-torn paths. Everyone knows that Paladin Sorcerer is a good combination, but what if you're feeling like a monk wizard this game? Back in previous editions, multiclassing was accomplished with helper resources like feats and prestige classes that allowed character abilities from multiple classes to synergize more thoroughly. But something similar has been missing from 5th edition. I was literally just thinking that yesterday, that it seems like multiclassing is a little bit funky. So it's nice to see that someone's trying to tackle that. So this product covers all 66 two-class multi-class combinations of 5th edition and allows for more interoperability between the abilities of a character's classes. What does that mean? Imagine spending sorcery points for an extra use of Channel Divinity as a cleric sorcerer, or sensing favored enemies with your divine sense as a paladin ranger. Those combinations and 64 more can be found in these. Wow, that is awesome. I mean, so they are looking at every single combination of class and giving you some prep on that. I mean, that's really cool, and tweaking it, obviously. So very, very cool. And it says here, a note on formatting: it can be annoying when you buy something to use in game and have to keep flipping back and forth between pages because the feat you want starts on one page and continues on another, or when content is organized in a haphazard fashion. With these concerns in mind, care has been taken to make this product as usable as possible. Feats are categorized by the type of character classes they combine, and the layout has been set to keep feats from bleeding from one column or to another page. So I do that with my books too, because I do the layout on my books, and I'll let them bleed into another column, but I try to keep things from going to another page that you have to turn. If it's on a spread where you see them side by side, sometimes I'll do that, but I do try to keep things together as best I can. Especially in digital, because page count, you can have as big a page count as you want, and why make somebody struggle to find something if you can keep it all together? So I appreciate that this publisher and author are also doing that. I appreciate it as a reader, but I'm very excited about this title. I definitely want this title. And so let's take a look. You get to see 4 of the 30 pages. So Battle Mage, it says, so this is the combination of 3 levels in Fighter, 3 levels in Wizard. And again, they're covering all the possible combinations. So it says, some learn their spellcasting in a dusty tower full of books, but you probably learned yours from military instructors instead. Alternatively, you may have been a traditional magic scholar and learned to fight after. In either case, your whole is greater and more dangerous than the sum of its parts, and you gain the following benefits. So already, I love that they are giving a potential backstory to why you're this combination. That was another thing I was thinking about. I'm like literally yesterday I was thinking, like, how do you explain? I mean, obviously you can invent the background, but some of these combinations have got to be really hard to like come up with a backstory. So it's so nice that this author and publisher have come up with that. So you can use it or not, but at least it's an option, right? It says, you may spend an hour performing a ritual that turns a weapon into a spellcasting focus for you. It functions as a focus for the wizard class, and if your fighter subclass grants spellcasting, it also functions as a focus for your fighter spells. You only have one such weapon at a time. And then you gain some benefit based on your fighting style. So archery, if you cast a spell with a casting time of 1 bonus action, you gain +2 bonus to damage on your next ranged weapon attack this turn. Dueling, while you are maintaining concentration on a spell, your dueling weapon does an additional point of damage. Very cool. I like how they're doing this. They're just kind of weaving these 2 classes together, giving them a backstory, synergizing some of their, so if you do this with a spell, you get this with your weapon, or if you do this with a weapon, you get this with your spell. Just making it seem like it's meant to be, as opposed to something forced or shoehorned together. Wow, this is something interesting to me, this book. I really am excited. I can't believe I was just thinking about this, and here it is. Secondary caster, non-caster. So you've got Barbarian Ranger, Pathfinder, Barbarian Paladin, Wrathful Avenger, fighter, ranger, skirmisher, so they're giving you kind of names too for each of the combinations. Even though it's called Pathfinder, this is for 5th edition. So monk, paladin, enlightened avenger, all this stuff. So very cool. Let's just read one more, since this is such a cool title. Let's read one more thing. It's very likely that you have lived, for the Pathfinder, very likely that you've lived in the wilds your whole life, but even if you have not, you almost certainly feel most at home there. Tough, formidable, and wise in the ways of the natural world, you can thrive where others may struggle to survive. You gain the following benefits. So the Pathfinder is a combination of barbarian and ranger. So that makes sense, and it's a good description. If you do not have proficiency in the nature skill, you gain it now. If you already had that proficiency in the nature skill, you use double your proficiency bonus. So very cool. I want this book. And if you're wanting to improve your multi-class experience, I recommend this book. Just from what I've read already, I can tell it's going to be a useful, helpful option. I don't even need to read the whole title to tell you that there's value here, but I do want to read the whole title. So look for Multiclass Feats in the links below. You'll support this creator and you'll support the channel at the same time. Alright, Nightland. Vasily Kaliman is the author with a gorgeous cover. Singing Flame is the publisher. It's compatible for OSR. And it says a weird fantasy role-playing game setting for use with old school essentials characters levels 2 to 3. Nightland is a realm where the sun has extinguished and its ashes lay strewn across a landscape. One after one, the stars in the universe are entering their ultimate stages of life, and existence is evaporating into a memory. Nightland may take place far in the future or even in the past. It is a dreamlike realm, existing without plot, with which referees can weave to their will. Nightland is presented as a point crawl, where players travel between nodes on the map representing situations and locations of interest. The points can represent adventure sites, major encounters, or unusual landmarks in geography. The point crawl is an abstract system of organizing a map to keep land-based adventuring simple. Referees can adjust it for traditional hex-based play if preferred. So yeah, we had a point crawl last week and I didn't quite know what that was, but this gives a really good explanation of what it is, and I like it. It's a good option. Hex-based is fun too, but now you have point crawl. Includes 17 locations described in convenient single-player spreads, 14 original illustrations, fully illustrated maps, 7 new monsters, new magic items, new spells, numerous random tables, 2 relationship matrices, and fully hyperlinked. So very fun setup there. So let's look at this. I love this art. Really, really flavorful, imaginative. And look at this map inside too. Very, very cool. Benjamin Marr did the cartography from Singing Flame. Very cool. And it says you just need character levels 2 to 3 and either old school essentials or some other OSR rule. It talks about the point crawl, traveling, link between everything, and then here's the factions. Some mourners. They roam the Nightland in a ceaseless quest of remaining embers of the extinguished sun. Their spells transform these fragments into myriad variations of magical sunstones. They serve as traveling preachers, performing continuous odes to keep the memory of the fallen sun alive, seeking to open hearts and minds to the authentic nature of loss and grief. They have an opulent poetic tradition and aim to touch the heights of artistic endeavor, which speaks to the eternal truth and beauty that renders human suffering insignificant. They pity the unenlightened ways of the void engineers and seek to obstruct their efforts of hoisting a monstrosity over Nightland. They consider the Necrodivas an abomination, but share a philosophy that Nightland is in a state of entropy and coming to an imminent end. They ride swine and are accompanied by their light bearers when making journeys through the darkness. So very imaginative. Here's some summoner abilities table. And I mean, look at this gorgeous art. Very, very cool. And here you've got the Necrodivas, void engineers, random events, encounters. I mean, this is just fun and beautiful. I mean, if you're looking for this almost melancholy, apocalyptic style setting, this is for you. You've got all kinds of just really, I mean, the names even, Necrodivas and void engineers. I mean, they really thought through this. The layout is really gorgeous and stunning. You got all these nice tables, pilgrims outside the temple, who you see, what their quirk activities. So 1d6 faithless people with eyes sewn shut, feasting. You can create so many things with these little tables. I would definitely even just make use of these tables outside of this. Just I like rolling on tables sometimes, just to spark imagination. As a writer, you need something that like kind of triggers your imagination and then carries on from there. So this, I think, is filled with imagination. So look for Nightland in the video description, click that link, and pick this up. It's only $7.99. Next we have Norse Grimoire, which is a PDF, and you can also buy physical cards, and you can see here they're basically spells. So you've got this symbol on the front with the name of the spell, and then you've got all the statistics that you normally get with the spell on the back of the card. So it's on sale right now for $2.99 for the PDF, so you can print the cards yourself, or you can buy the cards on sale for $10, or you can do the combination, also on sale. So 33 cards here. It's for 5th edition, and it's designed to integrate 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬, Icelandic magical stabs, and 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬, the alphabet of the runes of knowledge, into your game sessions and campaigns. It's a follow-up to their work and research that started 20 years ago and has given life to Journey to Ragnarok project. You can improve your Journey to Ragnarok settings, but you can also power up characters or worlds from any setting. And it's to better understand the Icelandic stabs and runes, they decided to focus their research on ancient sources. So it seems like this is very well informed from research in the real world here, which is nice. It's also, I should mention, from Mana Project Studio. So there's a historical essay about the runes. There's encrypted runes, how to read them and use them for your secret message. 24 runes of the Elder Futhark, their meaning, their story, and their use in divination. Icelandic magical staves, a historical essay about the Iceland mythology. 36 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬, their origin, their rituals, and their magical effects. Tattoos and ritual paintings, game mechanics of the effects that runes and 𝙬𝙬𝙬𝙬 have on the skin of your characters or the items. Extensive bibliography. So, if you're playing a Norse setting, or maybe something like Beowulf that could benefit from runes, this is really cool. And you have the options here. I mean, $5 off the cards right now. So if you want some printed cards, it's a good option. So look for Norse Grimoire in the links below and give it a click. Next we have a title called Chronicles of Artrusia, The Pit. It's under Pit in the links below, and it's a prequel adventure for Zumoria Mega Dungeon for characters levels 1 to 3 from Elevated Pachyderm Press and Vauxhall House, and it's for OSR. It's a suggested price of $2.99. Pay what you want. Definitely pay something, but it's nice. Maybe you can't afford $2.99 right now, so maybe you can pay a little less. But it's nice that they give you that option here. It's by Tony Garcia and Simon Barnes. So look at that cool little black and white art. Very, very nice when they have that to go with the OSR style stuff. It says the famed archaeologist Jonas Greytooth Walker discovered a strange pit upon an expedition to the Dead City. A spiral staircase descended into this pit, leading to a series of rooms carved from the rock. Each room lay behind a closed door, and their mysteries have not been unveiled. The entrance is marked by a large portal made of black basalt. There is a belief that this underground complex may hide information about the mythical city of Zumoria, which is rumored to be located on the Old Ones Island. There are inscriptions at the site indicating the presence of an ancient wizard named Arn Sakranissen, a well-known Zumorian scholar and the great explorer of Artrusia. Adventurers have sought the secrets of the pit, yet none have returned. Exploratory expeditions are leaving Crimson Water, heading for the Dead City. Dare you go down into the pit? So the pit is the focus of this adventure, which is cool. And here you go. Artrusia's got a map. And, again, this can lead into other adventures. This could be a prequel to some of the other titles from Voxel House, or it can be, standalone. So you get some more information on the human empire and the plebeian, which is sort of like it looks like a newspaper for the area. And here's some more about the pit. So it says the main hall. You descend the stairs and reach a room that is set with a floor of pale stone tiles. The room is lit by torches, set in sconces on the walls. You can see that these torches are freshly lit. Despite the dryness of the air outside, here you feel that it is humid. As you move further into the room, a beautiful image appears on the walls, a mosaic, large, and showing scenes of an ancient city. There is a sense of movement here, the mosaic showing the strength and power of an ancient civilization. You seem to recall seeing reports of similar images found on Old One's Island. Perhaps this mosaic depicts Zymoria. A small staircase is at the end of the room and descends deeper. A corpse lies in one corner of the room. So very old school feel. You're getting kind of lots of visuals of this mosaic, and you're getting this corpse, and then, there's this, looks like a skeleton you're going to have to battle. So I like the feel of this, and I like the setting that you're getting information on the Old One's Islands and Zymoria, and even just the human empire, you're getting some information on them as well. And just again looking at this cover, very old school, right? Early TSR adventure style cover. So if you want to recapture that feeling, if you want to recapture the feeling of an old TSR adventure, I think this title is for you. So come check it out. Look for Pit in the links below, and give it a whirl. Next we have Root of Evil, 5th edition compatible by Parts Per Million, on sale for $340, and it's also compatible with the Apocalypse World engine. It says, from the author here, I have been playing in a regular 5e game recently, and as a result that I have started to convert some of my Dungeon World adventures over to 5e, and I like the end result. It marries up some of the improvisational techniques from my original adventure, such as establishing questions with 5e stats and DC challenges. Nice. Okay, so very smart. If you're a creator and you can convert your stuff to other formats, that's a wise move, because then you have a larger audience for your work, so I applaud that. Root of Evil describes the descent into madness of a druid over the death of his sacred oak and the dryad that lives with it. That tipping over the edge puts into place a chain of events that spiral into dark rituals before spilling out across the local communities. Something needs to be done. It is a time to call for heroes. It uses Jason Cordova's 731 method to set up key elements of the adventure in a way that is very improvisation friendly. This makes it easy to play as a GM and as a solo player using an oracle. So very cool, and it's 13 pages, but it says this is a 16-page PDF. 2 pages are cover and front matter. Okay, so they're excluding those from the total count on the side here. And so there's layers, so you can turn off images for printing if you want. So all kinds of information here. So that's cool that you can play this solo as well. I like that. So let's look inside. So yeah, lots of solo stuff, levels and challenge, DC tests. It says it takes place in a former mining town. The mine suffered a tragic collapse, killing many of its workers and shutting down the mine. Since then, the town has been in decline. The mine's collapse caused Cathbad's sacred oak to be ripped from the earth and thrown down into the mine. Oh, that's a sad end to that tree and dryad. It says because of that, all of these things, very cool. The dryad who lived in the tree, known as Oak, died. Because of that, Cathbad performed a ritual, bargaining anything in return for sparing the tree and the oak. Because of that, the miners' souls trapped in the mine were ripped from their bodies and trapped within the tree as well. Oak also became trapped in a state of undeath. Very cool. So it's just kind of showing you all the consequences of this one thing. I like this layout, this structure for, kind of showing you consequences. And these are deep because, look at how many consequences there are. It says, because of that, Oak wants everyone to die horribly. So it's really leading you all the way to the motivations of Oak at the bottom here. So this undead tree that you're going to have to deal with, very cool. And here's a nice isometric map of the mine, and all this, or I think it's the mine, yeah, the mine storage, mine works. And then you got the mine entrance. So yeah, you're getting to see the whole book here. And when you can see the whole book, there's really no reason not to check it out. But I like this. I like the idea of a tree, an undead tree, being the villain, or at least the conflict. You don't see that very often, and maybe you have a druid in your party that would like to find another druid and see what's going on in their world, and meeting this druid would be pretty sad, finding out about this tree and dryad that have been lost, but maybe your druid can help this druid get back to some normalcy and deal with this evil tree. So I like it. I think it's fun. I'm a fan of plants and in role-playing games, so anything with a tree or plants is interesting to me. So check it out. It's only $3.40 on DriveThruRPG. Next we have the Starship Warden with some stunning, this is just stunning artwork. I'm assuming Peter Bradley or Jason Walton, the artist on this project, did it. Now look at this. It's from Troll Lord Games, but the price is $19.99, normally $75, guys. That's a huge savings. It's already got 2 5-star ratings. It's 648 pages. And it's OSR, or Castles and Crusades, compatible here. So it seems like you're going to get a lot for the money. They designed the Starship Warden to house, feed, and clothe over 1 million people. To do this, the designers outfitted this massive ship, miles long and miles wide, to serve as home for people, offering up quarters and cafeterias, restaurants, and malls, all intermingled with a host of features to mimic Earth-like conditions, from artificial lakes to fields of crops. Her maiden voyage began with the hopes and dreams of a future like nothing humanity had seen. So a miles-long ship with all this stuff inside of it. What a cool setting. I like it already. And 648 pages of this. You're going to get some detail in there. And it says, but that was long ago. There has been no contact between the Warden and Earth for many long years, for on the ship something went horribly awry. Radiation leaks, singularity, mutations, madness. What it was, only the inhabitants could say. Whatever it was, her inhabitants, those that lives, dwell in a world of want and despair, and when they were not preying upon one another, they fight beastly mutants, cyborgs, self-aware robotic humanoids, and all other creatures who vie for the precious resources of the beleaguered starship. It is your time now. Rise in the chaos of the Warden and bend its apocalypse to your will, or be ground away in the lonely quiet of deep space. So it's like being in a sci-fi movie with this thing. I think Starship Warden, it looks like a lot of fun. Let's look inside. So you get to see 6 of the 648 pages. It says sourcebook for running campaigns using the Metamorphosis Alpha Siege engine or almost any other role-playing game system. So, and I did say it's OSR and Castles and Crusades compatible. But yeah, so much stuff. It looks like it goes through each part of the ship here. So you've got command deck and the forest conservatory, the jungle conservatory. So it's literally detailing this huge setting, because this is really a setting in space, yeah, very nice art, very nice layout. Let's read some more of this. Let me find a good spot. Force fields. Although electromagnetic machinery in use today can establish what might qualify as a form of force field, the types of force fields found within most science fiction are not possible using current technology. The ability to create constricted and directional gravitational fields, however, makes 2 different types of force fields possible aboard the Warden: physical barriers and energy barriers. Okay, so they've even gone into detail about different types of force fields, which I appreciate. And then you've got nanotechnology, cloning, alien races. incorporate the disaster. According to this book, something killed off the entire crew, or 99% of it at least, transforming their bodies into small piles of white powder. This could have been a wave of never-before-seen energy or radiation. It could have been a microbiological organism with an extremely rapid rate of procreation and transmigration. It could possibly have been a malfunction on board the ship that caused an unforeseen space-time anomaly, energy wave, or what have you. If you are eagerly awaiting a once and final answer to this conundrum, we provide none such here. So that's nice. They leave it open-ended. They're going to detail the setting, but you can choose what you want it to be. Given the theme this week, I think it's probably an infection, but it could be anything. So I like that they have it open-ended and they're honest about that. And here's cool little general deck plan. But yeah, I mean, so much. I mean, with sci-fi stuff, it can be hard to find a detailed setting or support material. But this book has 648 pages of setting for this apocalyptic sci-fi scene, and I definitely think if you're looking for something like that, or even are curious, now's a good time, because $19.99 compared to $75, I mean, that's a good price. And Trollord Games is known for good materials, so look for Starship Warden in the video description and click that link. Support them, support us. Appreciate that. Next we have Something Happens 1st to 4th level from Momentous Malice Production. Random encounters, adventure hooks, and NPCs for fantasy role-playing adventures, compatible with 5th edition. So it's got 20 encounters and adventure hooks for parties of 1st to 4th level. And the title is like, suddenly something happens, kind of is a reference to needing to have something ready for your party, if something happens that you weren't prepared for. It says, use the table and encounters presented here if they fit your fantasy role-playing game when any of the following situations occur. So you're seeing 2 of the 9 pages. Play is bogged down with an inter-party bickering, excessive strategizing, or any other kind of drag on the pace of the session, including anything the game master is doing that loses the player's attention. So something happens is also like, we need something to happen to change what's going on right now. So this can be just a random thing that occurs. The party is between adventures and nobody's really sure what to do next. The game master is looking for ideas and needs help. The session looks like it's going to end early and needs something to do for the next hour. The party did something the game master didn't expect. So yeah, we talked about that already. So they're leveled to provide easy to hard combat challenges for a party of 5 third level characters, but some of them are brief one-offs. So you can see the encounter descriptions here, but then here's kind of a list, and they've got some abbreviations. So let's just read the cultist one here. 1d4 plus 6 cultists enter the area and confront the player characters, declaring that one of them must die to fulfill the prophecy. Their attitude is extremely hostile, and unless they're somehow convinced that they found the wrong person, they attack. Whether or not this is a case of mistaken identity, these people are clearly up to no good, and there may be more of them around. So, very cool. And then you've got even chromatic dragon wormlings to deal with, druids, personality guide for the character here named G. And yeah, very, very cool. I mean, this could come in handy. You need something to happen, and you can have some cultists run in, you could have dragon wormlings show up, druids, all kinds of good stuff. So, and it's a pay what you want price of $1. So, you can check it out. I believe with the pay what you want, you can pay $0, download it, and then go back later and pay more. I always recommend paying something, because as a creator, I know how hard it is to do all this stuff and how much effort goes into it. But I do believe that's also an option if you want to see if it's something that you'll use. But it sounds good to me. Who can't use encounters as DM at the ready to go that are generic to be plopped in anywhere. So that's our last DriveThruRPG title of the week. Before we move on to DM's Guild, please subscribe, share the video, like the video, help us get monetized. click those links in the video description to not only support us, but support all these great creators. They're alphabetically listed down below. Also, consider buying one of our 2 books. We've got Potions Unlocked, which, makes potions fun again, and it's on sale right now. $8 and something for the PDF, and then there's a print-on-demand version that you can get for $27, $28, somewhere in there. And then our Lineages book, the Van Richten's Librum of Lineages, is on sale. It's normally $2.99, and it's less than that. I think it's like $2.85 right now, so it's a really good time to pick that up and get some new lineages and those optional rules to help you, either string lineages together or to remove a lineage after you've already started with one. So very cool books. Those are listed in the links below alphabetically as well. So please consider purchasing those, supporting the channel, sharing this video, all that good stuff. Now on to DM's Guild. Our first DM's Guild title this week is 10 Monsters of Midsummer, with a fun little cover there from Lucas Anderson, Bum Lee, Daniel King, Jack Weigel, Jonathan Swadley, Sharkside, Aaron Ballou, and Sebastian Yu. It says the Holodanger team presents a collection of 10 spicy monsters to heat up your summer games. Each monster is lovingly crafted by our team of experienced designers and comes with original lore and adventure hooks, so they can easily be dropped into any campaign or inspire a whole new adventure. Add a splash of color to your encounter with 𝙁𝙗𝙗 the Rainbow Dragon. Cook up an unexpected twist with a trail that leads to the barbecue golem. Make a bang with a spectacular and deadly display of living fireworks. Surprise your players with a fiery battle with the ever-burning sun. So very cool, and it's also got separate documents for screen readers and 3 printable double-sided postcards, which is always fun. Let's take a look and say, oh, look at this awesome art. Looks like Anthony Grasso was the artist, and it looks very cool. Nice stat blocks, and yeah, this art and layout is really nice. I like it. Just gonna scroll through quickly, and then we'll come back up and look. So there's a rainbow dragon. There's a giant cicada. There's a Photiad, a volcanic spirit. We'll look at that one in a minute. And then here's the barbecue golem, which is a cool little picture. So very fun. And then there's some adventure hooks for the monster. It's very cool. I doing some adventure hooks for some monsters in my next book, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, Photiad, volcanic spirit. Fey beings deeply in tune with the earth. Photiads are creatures of flame and stone, bound to areas of great volcanic activity. The emotions of a Photiad are closely linked with their surroundings. A storming volcano constantly spewing ash and molten rock into the sky is likely to stir a Photiad to destructive anger, while a gentle lava flow or near dormant caldera will render the Photiad calm but reclusive. This is awesome, and actually it works with a creature in my next book that's also volcanic and fey, so it would be cool to put those two together, because that one's more of like a boss character and this is more of like a supporting character, so very cool. Yeah, and I like the name, and there's some cool adventure hooks down here. It says, you've been summoned to a volcano by a mysterious message. There you meet a Photiad whose lover, a dryad whose tree set at the summit of her volcano, has been kidnapped by monster hunters that deem them both beasts. If you can successfully rescue the Photiad's lover, you will be awarded a trove of precious metals and gemstones. So that's cool. And then here's the stats. Got some interesting stuff, including a control lava down here. Photiad chooses a cube up to 100 feet on a side that she can see within 300 feet, affecting it as per the control water spell, but replacing any mention of water with molten rocks and metals. So very nice. And you've got giant cicada here with predator avoidance. When a creature moves within 5 feet of the cicada, or cicada, I don't know how you say it, can move up to half its flying speed without provoking opportunity attacks. Okay, cool. And then here's the rainbow dragon. One day, 𝙁𝙗𝙗 unfolded their wings and flew high above the clouds, opened their mouth, and roared, releasing a dazzling cacophony of colors from their jaws. The other dragons in their clan saw a rainbow light up the sky and knew that 𝙁𝙗𝙗 was a unique dragon, the first of their kind. They welcomed 𝙤𝙤𝙘𝙀 back, but 𝙤𝙤𝙀 decided to leave the same day and settled on a mountaintop of their own, hoping to create a new community for any creatures who want to learn more about themselves at their own pace. Nice. So I like the thematic feel of this particular dragon and the history of it. It, released sort of the rainbow out there, and that's fun. I like it, especially with the new dragon supplement coming out soon. So you're getting to see 4 full creatures with all the pages of them out of the 10, so there's no reason not to come check this out. It's only $4.95 for the 26 pages, and you'll find it in the links below under 10 Monsters of Midsummer. I definitely want this one myself, so check it out. Next, we have Absolutely Overly Detailed Background Generator by Christopher Davidson and Brandon Thompson. It's 30 pages at $2.99. It says creating a background can be one of the most enjoyable and creative parts of roleplay. This guide provides tables, descriptions, and hints to help you create a simple or as detailed a background as you choose for your characters and or NPCs. Useful for players and dungeon masters, this guide can be modified to your own style of play and setting. Also includes 2 NPCs created with this guide and maps and descriptions of locales involving them. So it will be updated to include new options over time. Okay. So here's the intro. So you got backgrounds, basics, class, race, age, name, height, weight, all that good stuff. Eyes and hair, homeland, parents, siblings, experiences, on and on and on. So, alright, so then you got the introduction, how to use the guide, and then the basics. So you're going to see 4 of the 30 pages. Class is the character's calling, which defines what the character can do. Roll on the table below, or just pick one. So got all the classes, including the Blood Hunter and Artificer in here, so you can roll with D100 to get all of them, or D12 to get the core classes. So yeah, some options there. It's just kind of roll and create this character, and I'm assuming this follows similar pattern for the rest of the stuff. So then you would roll and get the age and the race and the name and all that good stuff, and then you can go advanced and get experiences, their background, goal, motivation, secret, deities, all that stuff. And then there's a quick encounter. So I think that's cool. It's always nice to have fleshed out NPCs. Maybe that's an area that you struggle with as a DM, so this could be a really good option for you. So look for Absolutely Overly in the links below. Next we have Alith's Blueprints for Home and Business by Adam Hancock. It's already a best copper seller, 47 pages at $14.95. And it says plan, build, furnish, staff, and profit, build a tower, design a home, run a tavern, house an army, manage a store, and more. In this streamlined 47-page guide, you will discover these features: new rules for establishing, building, and running a business, 15 location types, 6 construction materials, 27 furnishing options, 14 staff options, 4 example establishments, and 1 sheet for tracking your home or business. It's everything you need to establish building and running in your campaign. It plays nicely with 5th edition, and there's only one reason to add building and running establishments to your game: to make it more compelling, more memorable, and more fun. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, even just having like a stronghold is fun. So imagine running a business, or having a home that you get connected to as a character, right? That can be really good to have sort of a base for your player, or even you can probably use this to create NPC homes and stuff like that. So I think it's a really fun idea, and Adam's a good writer. I've seen some of his stuff before, so I'm assuming that's his pronoun. Hopefully I got it right. If not, I apologize. Alright, so we've got cool brick by brick building, locations, constructions, furnishings, hiring staff. So quite a lot of stuff going on in this 47 pages. And then you're introduced to the titular character here, Lady Alith. So choosing the location, planning and construction, your establishment scores, so you get scores, it looks like, to build stuff. We're going to read some more of this, but yeah, look at this nice art. You get to see 31 of the 47 pages, so that's quite a lot. Very nice options. So yeah, let's just find something cool to read here. Suggested staff, priests. So that's for the crypt here. So looks like each one has a cost, the benefits, suggested additions, and staff. So let's read this. Coffins, sarcophagi, and funereal relics are some of the furnishings of a crypt. Underground crypts might be called catacombs or tombs. A ground-level crypt might be called a mausoleum, sepulchre, or ossuary. The fallen have miraculously risen from the dead in some legendary crypts. So the benefit basic, you can inter one corpse for every 4 crypt squares you build. A corpse laid to rest here can't be turned into an undead creature unless it's first removed from the crypt. Fine. A corpse laid to rest here is perpetually under the effects of the gentle repose spell, even if it's later removed from the crypt. And then opulent, your establishment's renown score increases 1 for every 16 crypt squares you build. In addition, a corpse laid to rest in the crypt that has died of anything but old age or natural causes within the last hour can be returned to life as if with a revivify spell. Once this feature is used, it cannot be used again for 1 month. So cool. It's giving like the location some like abilities basically, and that's something I haven't seen before. It says suggested additions. A crypt usually adjoins a room furnished as a shrine, so you could have like a crypt and a shrine, and there's probably a shrine in this book as well. And so then you've got the gallery. Any long room or passage might be called a gallery, but here we refer to those filled with sumptuous works of art, sculpture, paintings, drawings, ceramics, coats of arms, taxidermied animals, and more. Seating areas for viewing them. Some owners like to collect fine things for preservation or aesthetics, while others merely want to impress guests. This room might be called a museum, antechamber, lobby, or entrance hall. Basic, your establishment's renown score increases by 1 for every 25 gallery squares, and your profitability score increases by 1 as well if they are staffed with curators. So there's squares that you're using to build these places, and based on those squares, the number of squares, certain things happen. More renowned square increases for the other levels, and then you recommended curators and guards for the staff. They've got a jail, kitchen, library, so you can even maybe do a whole mansion that has all these different rooms if you wanted to, and then the various benefits of having those rooms. You've got a shop, stable. Yeah, I like this a lot. And then hiring the staff, what the wages are for them. This says guards provide security for your establishment. Though anyone with martial prowess can be a guard, most use the guard stat block except skilled guards who are usually archers or veterans. Guards are sometimes called bouncers or bodyguards. They take levels in the warrior sidekick class typically. Require sleeping accommodations to provide around-the-clock security. You can either provide a bedroom or build the more economical barracks. Your establishment's security score increases by 1 for every hired guard who has on-site sleep accommodations, or for every 3 hired guards who sleep off-site. So lots of options for building stuff, hiring a staff. I mean, even I'm sure a DM could use this to kind of come up with what's going to be in a location, for the players to visit. But I think it'd be fun. Maybe I've been playing for years with the same people, and you want something different. This could be a really good option. Let them build a house or a business and integrate it. I think some of the best campaigns have a solid home base to work from. Nights at the Evening Star is one of my favorite D&D streams, and they start with a keep at the very beginning of it, and I love it. I think it's just a fun setup. So check out Alith's blueprints for home and business in the video description. Click the link, go here, get a copy of this best copper seller. Alright, next we have Backgrounds of the New World, New Paths to Follow in a Hero's Story, written by David Serrano and Jack Terry. It's on sale for $2.13, and it's 23 pages. Venture forth into adventure with this new resource. This book has 23 pages in which you will find 14 backgrounds for player characters to use during their character creation process. Those backgrounds include features and characteristics that provide ideas for players to make this background into a grand story for their characters. Most of these are themed to fit onto a Greek mythology setting as well, so campaigns such as Theros or Arcadia would be a great fit. However, they can be changed to fit any setting. Even some of those were inspired by the guild member concept from Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, so that's cool as well. And then there's 14 backgrounds. We'll just read a few of those here. So you've got the Athenian mage. You belong to the most magically advanced city in your realm. You may be an apprentice to a powerful mage, one of many students in a grand institution of learning, or a self-taught spellcaster who use the resources of their home to rise to the call of adventure. Inventor. You are an enthusiast of all kinds of creations. Technology is your passion. Developing it, appraising it, and learning more about it are the driving forces in your life. You wish to explore ancient civilizations and hope to discover forgotten technology to create new inventions that blow away the world and might even mark your name within history itself. So lots of cool backgrounds here. Let's take a look inside. So you've got the list of the backgrounds and then more information on those. So nice clean wizard style layout. It says changing the flavor. Some of the lore behind a few of the backgrounds may not fit, but feel free to change it to fit your game. Okay. So blacksmith. Every rusty sword you find at the bottom of a dungeon, every piece of armor that has saved its wearer from a piercing arrow, every spear tip, dagger, and shield, all were made by blacksmiths. So it says you might be the only blacksmith in your town or village, you might be part of a guild, a clan, or school. What would prompt your character to give up a stable trade and become an adventurer? Perhaps you seek ancient smithing techniques or to find rare materials. Perhaps you want to test your metal, or your metal, the other spelling. Maybe you didn't want to pay to join the guild and were forced out of town, or perhaps you just grew bored of a simple life. So very well written there. So you've got your specializations, and then your features. You've got a discerning eye. You are able to discern if metal weapons or armor are damaged, poor quality, or overpriced. You can assess the value of any mundane weapon or metalwork, recognize smithing tools and techniques that belong to other cultures and their uses. Additionally, you recognize the environmental effects of a forge, allowing you to identify if an area has been utilized to perform a smith's work. And then you've got your characteristics. So we'll just read a couple flaws. My work is perfect, which is why I overcharge as much as I can get away with. I only work with the best materials no matter how desperately we need repairs. I don't pay my full tithe to the guild and never have. Okay, so some good flaws there. And that's just one. We just read the blacksmith, so I'm sure they're all of good quality based on what I read there. Yeah, you got blacksmiths, healers, inventors, mercenaries, oracles, royals, Spartan warriors, storytellers, undertakers. I mean, even if you're not in a Theros setting, I think there's a lot to offer for only $2.13. So go to Backgrounds of the New World in the links in the video description and give it a click. Next we have Calimport and the Skyfire Wastes, a guide for games in the Calim Desert by Brian Coughlin. Explore the wasteland in this desert setting sourcebook. 105 pages, that's quite a lot. $14.95, and it says explore an elementally blasted wasteland formed from thousands of years of feuding genies. Discover ancient ruins and priceless relics lost to the sands of time. Embark on an adventure worthy of inclusion in 1001 long rests. Ally yourself with powerful Kalishite pashas and a bid for the future of Calimport, City of Glory. So it expands upon the current affairs of post-spellplague Kalimshan, fan-favorite region of Faerun, barely touched upon in the 5th edition. Kalishites have finally won their freedom after a violent revolution, killing or exiling their genocide Murabirs. Chaos reigns in Calimport as several factions vie for power in a new, still-forming government. So you've got character creation options for Skyfire Waste setting, new subclasses for the Druid, Paladin, and Rogue, group patrons, an overview of Calimport, Calimport factions, descriptions of other Kalishite cities, wasteland navigation and desert hazards, wasteland encounters and descriptions, DM tools for player engagement, new magic items, desert creatures, and NPCs. So what are you waiting for? Get out there and comb the desert for the adventure in the source book. So nice. It's really cool that they're, you know, going deep into the Forgotten Realms, because, you know, Wizards is only really doing the Savage Coast so far, and so it's nice to have somebody else fill in that gap here. Lots of stuff, right? Look at all this. I mean, it's 105 pages, so you get all the information on the Skyfire Wastes. You get to know all about that area, and we're going to read some more of this in a minute, but you get to see 8 of the 105 pages. So it says, a cultural mosaic. A person does not have to be of 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙬𝙯 descent, nor have a traditional 𝙤𝙤𝙤 name to be part of its culture. Millennia of humanoid trafficking have brought peoples from faraway lands through Calimport. This mixing of disparate cultures forced together under the bonds of slavery has produced a unique culture which has roots from many lands. Some scholars attribute this multicultural tapestry of traditions and customs to 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙬's seemingly natural ability to communicate and negotiate with the people of other cultures so easily. Very cool. I like the background. You got a social structure, information, economy. Calimport is one of the strongest economic powers in Faerun, second only in size and scope to Waterdeep. Unlike its competitor, Calimport has more variety in goods and services. A person can find anything and everything in the City of Glory. Unless someone or something tips the balance of power in a major way, Calimport will continue dominating the trade lanes, as it always has. Even in chaos and political uncertainty, Calimshan's economy remains strong. So, nice background information on Calimport and Calimshan. So yeah, I think there's so much to offer here, and they've researched a lot of old stuff to bring it in up to date and bring it into 5e. So if you are looking to explore another part of Faerun and, you know, maybe get some Forgotten Realms on, this looks like an awesome option, and it is on the DM's Guild. Look for Calimport in the video links. Colors of Crafting, Herbalism, and Alchemy, a simple modular system for crafting in your 5e game from Hardcore Punk Potato, 14 pages for $1.99. Utilize a robust and easy to understand crafting system for your 5th edition games. It introduces a simple system by crafting with your herbalist or alchemist kit. The core rules offer an extremely simple system that can resolve the process from foraging to crafting in 3 steps and 4 rules. Colors of Crafting offers 4 different crafting requirements to match the economic model used in your D&D game, and it includes prices for, you know, Xanathar's Guide to Everything, Dungeon Master's Guide, as well as sane and discerning magical prices. Pricing has been a challenge in 5th edition for sure, so it's nice that they cover all those bases, and it offers variant rules that can increase the depth of the core rules. It can be as simple or complex as you desire. So let's take a look inside. So you get to see 3 of the 14 pages. So you've got how to craft and create, then the economy, and then the yield tables, starting recipes, crafting tables, and then some appendix. So it's got, I think, the prices based on what source you're using, because there is some homebrew pricing out there that people rely on heavily. There's one in particular, I think it's the sane and sensible pricing that is quite popular. So let's look. Let's see. Scour, scrounge, and forage. Between adventures, traveling, or downtime, a character may spend their time foraging ingredients for potions, poisons, and remedies. A character needs to be proficient in an herbalism kit or alchemist kit to attempt foraging. To forage ingredients, a character must make an intelligence, nature, or wisdom survival check. Compare the result to the foraging table to determine the yield. A higher roll leads to a higher yield. Next, determine the color result on the color yield table. The character obtains the number of color points of the color determined. These color points act as an abstraction of all the plants, minerals, and animal materials possessed by the character. Players can then craft a product in exchange for their points. A character must spend at least 1 hour for every 1 foraging roll. This represents the search, travel, safe extraction, and storage of the materials. Other party members may assist the foraging character by granting the help action up to the DM discretion. Cool. So they're going out there, foraging all this stuff, putting it together, and then they're using this system to craft stuff, which is great. I mean, In my Potions Unlocked book, I have crafting of potions, recipes for all of them and stuff, and so you could probably use this system with that book to craft those potions as well. I do talk about how to do it in my book, but you can use this system with that as well. Because I have plants and I have ingredients, and this needs plants and ingredients to build stuff, so you could combine these together. Economy and cost. The supplement balances around your game's economy so that crafting is both useful to the player and not a hindrance to the DM. So there's 4 separate sets of color cost points depending on which economic model you're using. Again, I applaud that because, as I said, this same Magical Prices is quite popular homebrew and discerning as well. And then Xanathar's guide changed what Dungeon Master's guide had. So whichever one you're using, they've got you covered, and I really appreciate that. So look for Colors of Crafting in the links below and check it out. Next we have Hum Caverns from Dividestined. It is $1 for 20 pages. Whether for glory, greed, or fate, our heroes have entered the Hum Caverns, the underground home of various subterranean beasties. There's more to these tunnels than it first appears, though, and the forces of elemental earth are marshalling throughout. Can they conquer the caverns, or will elemental earth erode them away? This simple dungeon crawl can easily be dropped into any campaign with minimal preparation. It has maps for all floors, 9 different encounters of adjustable difficulty, 3 new monsters infused with the power of elemental earth, and suggestions of how to smoothly integrate the adventure into your campaign. And it's $1, so that's not too bad on the price there. You get to see 6 of the 20 pages. And so you get the adventure, you got your little flavor text, cool little table for a rest event. So we'll look at some of that stuff in a minute. Hidden cache. So this alcove appears to be nothing more than a rocky outcropping on first glance. Those who choose to make a DC 15 intelligence investigation check will discover a cache of supplies hidden behind a stalagmite. Other skill checks might reveal that there is something to be found, such as perception pointing out scuff marks on the floor from something being dragged, or nature finding a small line of ants carrying tiny bits of food. If another check succeeds, give the investigation check advantage. So, yeah, it's you can try all kinds of checks to get the find different things here, and I like that it's giving you various options. I just wrote an encounter for my new book that does a similar thing, and I think that's cool because too often we rely on one type of check, and that limits it to maybe one class that can get the job done, and I think it's nice to mix it up, so I like that they're doing that. The light dims as you step inside the cave. You can see that the walls and floor are rough stone, some of it hewn by a half-hearted mining attempt. The most interesting feature is a musical humming you hear further into the darkness. So some nice mood there with the flavor text. And then here's the rest events. The hauntingly beautiful hum of the singing stone softly echoes through the tunnels, or you can encounter from floor 2.4. So there's some options to roll if they're resting. So yeah, looking for a short little adventure for a low price. Hum Caverns might be for you. Check it out. And next we have Forgotten Realms, Encounters in 𝘽𝙁 by Micah Watt. Make 𝘽𝙁 unforgettable with these 10 encounters and maps. So it's under Encounters in 𝘽𝙁 in the links below, by Micah Watt, Christian Zook, and Kathleen Harrington. It's already a best copper seller. And it's 10 encounters for when you're playing the Tomb of Annihilation, you might use this. There's detailed maps, encounters, stat blocks, 28 pages, 10 encounters, 3 expanded ones, 2 stat blocks, 10 unique maps, and here's a preview of the maps. Those look cool, so you get that kind of jungle feel. So even if you just need some jungle maps, you can get them for $4.99, and it's 28 pages. So let's take a look. Got dinosaur action going on. So yeah, here's all your encounters and some expanded ones, and then some monsters. So this is 𝘽𝙁 is a beautiful but dangerous place. People venturing through the jungle may be faced with huge reptilian creatures called dinosaurs, deadly plants, undead, yuan-ti, and much more. It is not a walk in the park. And then you got more information down here as you scroll through, and cool looking jungle style to it. And you've got this stat block, and then it's kind of nice how they've broken it out. They've got the background, the encounter itself, the outcomes, rewards, and then other stuff. So I like that how they've structured these encounters. So here, a small Triton clan off the coast has managed to subvert several of Rasmussen's Yuan-Ti pureblood servants and is planning an incursion against the warlord. So they find themselves on a beach, following tracks or carry on birds to the body of a Yuan-Ti pureblood riddled with arrows. The body is in the shallows, surf lapping against it. In its hand is an ornate bottle stoppered with a cork. A parchment can be seen inside the bottle. So very cool little setup. And then you got your outcomes. The characters disentangle themselves and allow the two groups to fend for themselves. Combat breaks out, and the Tritons retreat after 4 of their number are slain. The 𝙁𝙗 with only 1 casualty take the corpse and the items, or the characters side with one group or the other, earning both allies and enemies, or the characters successfully negotiate between the two groups and gain 2 sets of allies and obtain information. So I like that there's various options, including non-combat. It's a nice trend that's happening, is non-combat, and I'm happy to see that they're exploring that here. So very cool, lots of good things going on in this adventure, or these encounters. I mean, you can see all 30 pages, it looks like, which I really appreciate. So there's no reason not to check this one out, guys. And I think these are pretty fleshed out, and they have many options as far as what happens at the end, and then you've got your monsters here at the end. So quite a lot of value in this $4.99 product on DM's Guild. So look for Encounters in 𝘽𝙤 in the description below. Escape from Castle Kolyana by Scott and Ashley Ropel, a horror adventure set within the domain of dread known as Phantom Cairn. It's $1.69 on sale, 17 pages. What if 𝘏𝙤𝙤𝙧𝙀 Kolyana became a vampire turned by Stradvan Zarevich himself? Yet even in his victory, the Dark Powers found a way to turn it into a defeat. Escaping from Castle Ravenloft, the Dark Powers granted 𝘏𝙤𝙤 her own domain of dread, the Phantom Cairn, as well as 3 children. She seeks to reunite with her betrothed Sergei von Zarevich, but needs adventurers to do so. That's where you come in. Invited into this new domain, you are the prey, and the hunters are out for blood and sacrifice. Can you escape Castle Kolyana? Or will you be sacrificed in a ritual to bring Sergei back to this world as a vampire? Good luck. It's got a new initiative mechanic called the Hunt, brand new magical item, and a horror adventure inspired by Resident Evil. So got the wizard's layout, which is cool. Flying swords, these weapons stripped about the castle and attack intruders within range of their blind sight. Unseen servant, a curious object drifts into view as though held aloft by an invisible force. This unseen servant was created by 𝘏𝙤𝙤 and is permanent and until destroyed. See the unseen servant spell in the player's handbook. And then here's some encounters with the unseen servant. It says a Chinese silver platter with a lid. If a character comes within 5 feet of the servant, it lifts the lid, revealing a bunch of moldy scones. The first character to eat a scone gains inspiration. On later occurrences of this encounter, the platter holds a crawling claw that attacks the nearest character. Cool. Okay, so it has several options there. So then there's trinkets, chase, encounter the hunt, and then here's the appendix of the monster. So you've got a medium undead. Quite a lot of stuff, including legendary actions, CR 13. And then children of the house. So the 3 children, this is their stat block, and here's the tomb keys. I love keys, so that's very cool. See those old keys in here. And then you've got Sergei's ceremonial sword, which is a magic item. It says Sword of Sergei is a +3 magical weapon with the ability to cast Speak the Dead once a day and a resurrection spell once per year, as well as turn in dead 3 times a day. So some things it can do once a day, some things it can do 3 times a day, and then other things once a year. And it says turn undead, cast from this blade, destroys undead below level 4. Okay, nice. Alright, so cool artwork, nice layout, interesting setup. if you want some more Ravenloft, maybe want a new domain or want a twist on Arena, then this is an option for you. And you can see they've got some nice maps in there. It's only $1.69, so look for Escape from Castle Kolyana below. Next we have a Warlock Patron, the Ferryman, under the Ferryman in our links by Elaine Giorla, 5 pages for $1. Neither angel or demon, the ferryman carries the souls of the departed upon their final journey. Discover a new otherworldly patron for the warlock class and new eldritch invocations. Use ferryman's tokens to prevent your companions from meeting their demise, but be warned, at the end of the day, the ferryman always takes his due. So, interesting. Let's look inside. So you got these cool little tokens. You can see 2 of the 5 pages. So there's an expanded spell list, as usual, and then there's a token. So let's see what the token does. It says, let you bargain for the life and death of your companions. You can perform a 1-minute ritual to create 1 magical token in the shape of an enchanted iron piece, which you can then give to a creature of your choice. You can have a number of Ferryman's tokens equal to your proficiency bonus. If you create more Ferryman's tokens, the oldest ones you create lose their magic. You learned the Spare the Dying cantrip. It is a warlock cantrip for you, and it doesn't count against the number of warlock cantrips you know. In addition, you can cast Spare the Dying on a creature wearing one of your tokens. The cantrip has a range of 60 feet instead of touch. You learn the Healing Word spell, which you can only cast on creatures wearing one of your Ferryman's tokens. It is a warlock spell for you, and it doesn't count against the number of warlock spells you know. So you create these tokens, and you hand them out, and then you can start kind of referring to them. And then down here you got Debt Collector. It is time for you to pay the ferryman its due. As a bonus action, you can designate 1 creature that you see within 60 feet, and mark it for death. While marked for death, the target has vulnerability to all forms of damage. It is not immune to, and has a disadvantage in all saving throws. So quite a powerful ability there, but this is the 14th level feature. So wow, okay, I like that. And it's a cool, popular character from mythology, the ferryman, taking you across the river Styx to the underworld, and can be used in things like the Scarred Lands or Theros, or anywhere really you could have a ferryman. But I do like the concept a lot, and those tokens seem like a lot of fun, so check it out. Next we have Gathering the Realms by Joe Gaylord, Benedict Hall, Matthew Booth, and Django Games for $14.95, 95 pages. Things have been changing. Creatures once unknown to our world have begun to arrive in the Forgotten Realms. A strange cat-headed beast sits in a tavern in Waterdeep, trading drinks for tales of a world where gods walk among mortals. A precise blue creature has come to Candlekeep on a mission for the leaders of a city that spans an entire plain. Mechanical beings built for war that swept and devastated their lands walk the wastes of Icewind Dale. They speak of planeswalkers, unique beings imbued with sparks, magical gifts that enable them to traverse the wild aether between the planes in safety. The paths to the multiverse have opened, and infinite worlds await those with the power and the will to explore them. New means of power, new allies, new enemies, and above all, new adventures are out there beyond the stars. Will you walk the paths through the wild aether and seek out what the planes beyond have to offer? If you will not, others will, and may well come to your world instead. Building on the multiverse worlds started by publications like Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, Mythic Odysseys of Theros, and Magic the Gathering Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, Gathering the Realms presents many ways to bring flavor and mechanics of Magic the Gathering to your table. So yes, the lines between Magic the Gathering and Dungeons & Dragons continue to blur, which is good, because they both have a lot to offer each other. And this book seems to be building upon that. I mean, it's got 3 new feats, 6 variant rules, 6 subclasses, 10 spells, 12 new items, and 24 creatures. It also includes guidelines for adding color to D&D, the colors like magic, as an alternative to alignment. Locations and creatures in the game. You can also play as a planeswalker, which is a lot of fun, but you can see here the outer planes and Toril and all the other outer planes and the colors associated with those, because they've got sort of the magic colors here, which is nice. It's unfortunate we can't use the magic symbols. I really wish Wizards would allow that on here, to be able to use those magic symbols to further immerse people in these Magic the Gathering settings. So let's take a look inside. So you've got some very cool looking borders, and it says a multiverse awaits. So you get to see 6 of the 95 pages, so quite a lot of pages in this book, which is great. So Magic the Gathering revolves around 6 colors with their own philosophies: white, blue, black, red, green, and colorless. Mana is energy that powers a range of magical effects. So yes. And then Planeswalkers talks about that, and then the nature of color. Mana or magic within the multiverse is divided into 6 types, 5 colors, and the lack thereof. Each has their own core values and ideals. All creatures, locations, and magic in the multiverse have ties to the colors of mana. So again, that's replacing alignment, which is nice. So white believes in peace. It sees the worlds of suffering and sees the reason. So many people who take more than they need and value their own fortune over the greater good. The solution is easy. Everyone must be taught to prioritize the health of the group over their own. Of course, some must be forced to follow this. White uses moral and civil law to maintain its power. Morality is used to guilt people to the right path, as white believes it to be. Civil laws are designed to punish those who would act against the group. If neither restrain a person, white will use group pressure, wielding xenophobia and hatred to drive the individualist out. Okay, so, and it's got ideals and more information on each of these colors. So it's interesting because, some people aren't fans of the current alignment system. So not only does this give you Magic the Gathering and traveling across the multiverse, it gives you an alternative to alignment. So I think it is a really good option, especially if you're a fan of Magic the Gathering and you want to bring more of it to your Dungeons & Dragons game. Then Gathering the Realms is probably a good pick for you on DM's Guild. Check it out. Next we have Heart's Desire by Alexander Saxton. It's got a suggested price of $1. It's a pay what you want title, 25 pages. It says, magic, mystery, and loss in a sunken country. Once the jewel of the coast, Castle Heart's Desire lies half drowned beneath the waves. An unquiet spirit roams the coast. A monstrous queen has made this place her lair. Only a group of strangers has the power to set ancient sins to rights. Only a group of strangers can redeem the Sunken Keep. It's a self-contained 2 to 3 session dungeon suitable for characters of any level, but ideal for parties of levels 5 to 7. It's a melancholy fairy tale atmosphere and a strong whiff of Celtic myth. Fits into any campaign in any setting with absurd ease. Heartbreaking story, deliciously malevolent foes, and a satisfying conclusion. An instant classic. Unique monsters such as coral knights, nautilus knights, hunter squid, and hideous arthropod. Alright. And then there's magic items and battle maps. So let's take a look. Oh, they don't have an interior. That's right. This one does not. So normally I only include titles that have that, but this one's snuck in, so we won't get to look inside. But it does sound interesting, and it's pay what you want for only $1. So, but with 25 pages, hopefully they can add a preview. If you're watching Alexander Saxton, let's try to get one added. A lot of times authors will add them before everybody's watched this video, because I do notify them all as soon as the video goes live, so they do have some time. So don't hold it against them. Get over here, check it out, take a look, see, maybe he's added a preview so you can see what I didn't get to see. And it sounds fun. I love heartbreaking stories and emotional stories, so this sounds like a really good one. And the price is great. Check it out. Next we have Monsters, Mercenaries, and More. Kobolds. So I love the art on this. It's one of the reasons it jumped out at me as I go through looking for titles to include each week. Sometimes it's the art that grabs me. Sometimes it's the title. Sometimes it's something else. You never know. But it's by Luke Beaverson, $2.99, and it's about tokens. So you get everything you need to build a kobold den. You've got all kinds of different kobolds here. You've got kobold with sling and dagger, dragon's shield, sorcerer, winged inventor, and 6 different color varieties. And you've also got a dragon statue, spiked reptile, jar, spilling, large split pool of dangerous substances, 3 candles, different type of ore, big pile of rocks. I mean, it's all here. I mean, look at this. I love the art style. Looks like a lot of fun. So you got this pile of slime that you can use, and candles and rocks, and all different colored kobolds. You can use them even as 2D miniatures instead of just tokens. So I love this art, and it's by Luke Beaverson as well. He's so the author and the artist here as well. So love to showcase some art every week. Yeah, check this out. It's under Monsters Mercenaries in the video description. Click that link. And next we have Ruined Tower paper model. Stores completely flat, not completely fat. Completely flat, and you can see a nice photo of it represented here, and it's $1 from Becky Sewell. So it's a print onto paper or card, and then you can, slot it together, and it looks like you can take it apart and put it back together. A lot of these paper models, you kind of have to glue them, and then they're permanently kind of together. This looks like it can just come apart and put together whenever you need. So the spiders and other accessories were added. They're not included, but you can click these links and get those, it looks like. But yeah, that's really cool. You could take your minis or tokens, put them in here, and have an adventure that goes all the way to the top of this tower. It could be like a wizard's tower, or a tower in a keep or a castle. And here's the inside with the assembly instructions, and you can see kind of all the places to connect, and see the different slots here allow you to put in the levels. So you could even have fewer levels if you want. But yeah, I love paper fold up stuff. I definitely got way into that with Cities of Mystery back in the day. It just is inspirational and provides some, already I mentioned 3 things this thing could be, just because visually it's inspiring. So check it out. It's only $1 on DM's Guild. Next we have the Skarian, or Skarian, not sure how it's pronounced. 7 legendary dynasties given life through magic. I love this art. It's written by Sturbear with David Serrano. The night is bright and the stars are shining. Choose your dynasty, spread your wings, and explore the world as Skarian, a unique player race option inspired by the real-world moss species for D&D. So here's the dynasties. Choose from 7 completely different unique dynasties, all designed off different moss species, each one suited for completely unique playstyle. So that's interesting. So that's kind of like, sub-races, I guess. And includes extensive lore on the Skarian species in each dynasty to aid your character's creation and backstory. Learn about the creation of Skarian and the ancient legend of the Mother of the Moon. Discover the deeply held customs of each dynasty, from their prayers to their sacred celebrations. You can gain a dynamic edge in combat using your 4 independent arms, become a master of the quadrivial force, choose from various racial feats and optional quirks, and includes 8 completely unique stat blocks representing each dynasty's warrior, and custom tokens as well. Nice. So a lot in this 19 pages for $5.50 here. Again, I like the art. So yeah, here's the race, and it goes into the dynasties. Alright, so you're going to see 4 of the 19 pages. So it says every Skarian belongs to a dynasty. These are massive, ancient civilizations of Skarian who all share what is known as the regal blood of the dynasty's king or queen. Every dynasty has a unique set of patterns, colors, and sizes that make every Skarian in that dynasty unique. So often breeding is only permitted within the dynasty. Those who resist their natural wanderlust are given specific duties to keep the dynasty running. Those include caring and rearing young, aiding the king or queen with various tasks, protecting the dynasty from attack. They may also become priests to offer prayers and gifts to the Mother of the Moon. Some are tasked with building large silken cathedrals and temples, or engaging in foreign trade. So very nice. Refusion is the term used by Skarian for when they go from their larval stage to their mature stage. The caterpillar-like form is known as an unfused, and their pupal stage that houses their transformation is known as the sarcophagus of refusion. and it takes a year to complete. So very interesting lore stuff going on with the Skarian. Again, I like this art a lot, and it sounds like a unique race with a lot of sub-races. So, and they've got tokens and stat blocks and all kinds of stuff, so you can even use them probably as NPCs or villains. So check it out on DriveThru. Look under Skarian down below in the links. Next we have Shipboard Encounters, ocean encounters containing social exploration, combat, and skill challenges from Chris Valentine. It's $1.99, 32 pages. It says, fill in your adventures with amazing shipborne encounters. This random encounter supplement provides hundreds of encounter variations, over 1,000 possible permutations for your ocean-going voyage. This also includes 13 new creatures, 5 maps, and it works well with Ghosts of Saltmarsh. So that's nice. And then you can get the digital maps by clicking on here. It seems like it's a separate purchase. I'm not sure. Yeah, so be aware that, you know, the encounter maps are a separate purchase. Potentially there may be a bundle, maybe? Nope. No bundle. I would, Chris, if you're watching, I would offer maybe a bundle with both the encounters and the maps, just so that people, you know, or maybe the maps do come with it. I'm confused. Maybe add a note if they are only separate, or maybe, like I said, make a bundle. So people can get both together. But $1.99 is a great price anyway, so it's not a big deal to buy them separately. So yeah, very cool. So you've got all your encounters listed, quite a few of them, and then some creatures, including fish gut slime. Who doesn't want fish gut slime? And then you've got some ships and maps. So I'm guessing that you do get the maps in the book, you just don't get the separate maps. Maybe that's how it works. But you can see 10 of the 32 pages. So here's a vessel encounter. So some are a feature encounter. So we'll find one here. Plagued, a fishing boat floats deserted on the ocean waters. Weeks earlier, the entire crew was killed by blue rot after fishing up a drowned one. So again, we have infection and nautical. We talked about that earlier in the video. Infections, nautical stuff, kind of working together. So this would work well with you know, those other titles we looked at. Off the starboard side of your ship, you notice a fishing boat on an intercept course. No one appears to be on deck, and the sails are tattered and torn. So you can have a cool little adventure with that. And then there's an object encounter. There's a corpse floating just off the starboard or port side is a bloated body. It's days old and well into its rot cycle. Roll a d4 to determine the creature type of the body. Alright, so reusable encounters with stuff like that going on, where you roll to fill in what's going there. So I like it. I think, you know, maybe you need a quick little something to add to a nautical adventure, maybe even, you know, the Blood Lagoon or one of these other ones that we looked at earlier. You could use this book to just roll a body floating off the side of the ship, or, you know, some other little thing like a derelict vessel encounter, and you're getting these fun monsters as well. So check it out under Shipboard Encounters in the links below. Next we have Statue of Lies. In a tormented forest, a guardian protects against a terrible curse. It's a short adventure for 4 to 6 level 7 characters. So level 7 characters with 4 to 6 of them. $2.51 on sale from Justin Coffrin, 18 pages. The promise of the power often leads fools to their demise. Sometimes, though, those fools survive and become kings. Take the Sea of Swords and sail your way to Moonshae Isles, where a long-forgotten statue may be the key to tremendous power. Will you and your companions survive the journey? So more nautical stuff. We've had 3 or 4 of those this week. So again, you can string those together and have a whole nautical themed campaign. And it takes place on the Swords Coast. So there's a homebrew skill challenge system, and it's going to take 3 to 6 4-hour sessions to complete. So that's a lot for a short adventure. 9 scenes with multiple variations. With grid or no grid, night and day, for a total of 34 maps, and they're formatted for Roll20 and Foundry, which is nice. Let's look inside here. So you get to see 3 of the 18 pages. So you got your table of contents, with stat blocks and other things. Statues, calm seas. Very cool. I like this. So it says loot and harvesting. Every enemy should have something for the players to grab. Each creature will have a role and DC associated with their loot table. To suggest that loot and harvesting be handled in a bulk to save time. For example, you can roll to loot 5 Mistweaver pirates at a time, or all Mistweaver pirates with one roll. Looting can be done quickly, but harvesting takes time. And here's how long it takes to harvest, depending on the size of the creature. Calm seas. Shortly after settling in, the captain calls the adventurers to meet with him on the main deck. Once assembled, informs everyone that if the weather holds up, the trip should take about 12 days. There will be no stops along the way, and that the Green Casket will not be anchoring off the shore of Oman. A rowboat will be provided, and the adventurers must make the approach alone. After Bid says his piece, the other officers introduce themselves. First 2 days of travel are pleasant. The crew turns out to be fine company, and the food surprisingly good. And then it's got information on role playing. So, and then it's all the crew. It's got role playing information. So very, very cool. I like when books give information on how to role play the characters. That's always a nice touch and a nice to have piece of the book. So again, an option to string together with other nautical stuff. We've looked at least 3 books that have nautical stuff this week, so you can combine those together for a unique campaign, or just pick up one of them. But I think it's a great time with these sales going on, guys, to support these creators. Next we have Tales from the World's End, a collection of 16 encounters with the uncanny, and it's got Bobby Ellis, Hidden Dave, James Dodds, Kathleen Harrington, Logan Smith, Lucas Zellers, Milos Gowecki, Nicholas Totif, Saga McKenzie, Val Serene involved, and it's $9.95 at 87 pages. Milos Gowecki is working on my next book, and he's a very, very talented writer, one of the best I've worked with. So I'm sure whatever's in here is quite good. And it says it's got a reduced price. It's normally $12.95. So if you buy it before the 26th, you can get it for $9.95. So that's a good deal. It says, read the correspondence between the librarian and the peddler, the individuals affected by the incomprehensible powers that lurk in the depths of the ocean and in the darkness behind the bright stars. Listen to their tales of cosmic horror, whether you heed their warnings or follow in their footsteps. Tales from the World's End is a collection of horror encounters suited for first, second, and third tiers of play. It includes 16 terrifying encounters, 18 letters written by the librarian and the peddler, 15 new monsters, new magic items, original art and cartography, and more. Beautifully laid out on 87 pages. So, and there's a printer-friendly version, which is a great touch. So let's look inside. There's also, if you look on YouTube, I think, and maybe here, let's see if it's here before. Yes, there's a trailer. You should watch this. It's very moody, and you get to hear some of the letters. I enjoyed watching that previously. So yeah, here's all your encounters. And this kind of moody layout, I really like that. And these letters are nice too, because you could work these into your story. Yeah, and you've got all this background on your encounters and your stat blocks. Sicarids they've got, so we'll read some stuff in a minute, but I want to just kind of scroll through so you can see some of the beautiful artwork and this cosmic horror stuff. If you got people to play, Cthulhu, or even just Ravenloft, you need something spooky, this can be a good option. Or maybe you haven't had anything spooky, and so now you just want to have one spooky thing. You can pick an encounter out of here. So let's look through some of these and see, find a good one here to read. So let's look at Jackson's Folly here. Content warnings on all these, so make sure you look at those. It says Old Man Jackson is a crotchety old fisherman with a shack on the beach. He was a salvage diver when he was younger, bringing back valuables and artifacts to the town. His success inspired other sailors and salvagers, turning his sleepy seaside hamlet into a bustling trade town. Eventually, Jackson retired to a small corner of the beach where he built a shack with a personal dock and fenced it in. A year ago, people noticed that Jackson began donning his old diving suit and pulling junk up from the sea again. People can't see his shack anymore because his property is piled high with driftwood, rope, and rusted boys. The only time they see Jackson anymore is in his suit. Some people are starting to worry, while others dismiss it as senile behavior. Rumors say that Old Man Jackson has a hoard of valuables on his property beneath all that junk. The truth, Jackson has found a terrible artifact, a cursed tentacle rod, during his last salvage mission. An eldritch sea abomination followed Jackson back to the surface, chasing the power of the artifact. The monster killed Jackson, took possession of Jackson's diving suit, and began its own deep-sea excursion to search for more power. Wow. So it's like a zombie diver. That's a cool little scene. And you got the diving helmet here. So that's fun, different. This creepy little diving suit. I mean, they look creepy to begin with, right? And then you add that there's a creature inside that's taken possession of it. Quite freaky. And just plugging this into Ravenloft, I mean, you could put this little Old Man Jackson's little house anywhere, right? I think it could be a lot of fun, and there's all these hooks of how they can be drawn in. And then you've got the property with the map of it, and then the scrapyard, pier, all the little sections, and then the rewards. Let's just read one of the hooks. It says, someone in town lost something at sea, and they believe that Old Man Jackson salvaged it and stowed it on his property. They want it back. So it's a cool hook. Very good writing and concepts here. I'm sure that it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, Milos is one of the best writers I've worked with, and you just can't go wrong with cosmic horror. It's gonna really, make you get goosebumps and the hair standing up on your arms, when you start talking about some of these just unimaginable horrors. So I would recommend getting this. Tales from the World's End in the links below. Click the link, watch the trailer, it's fun, and see what all kind of good stuff you can do with these encounters. Next we have Tyranny of Phandelver, The Rise of Tiamat, guide to running The Rise of Tiamat as a sequel to The Lost Mine of Phandelver. So for $4.95, 33 pages by Mark Singer. Children of the Worm have nearly succeeded in their campaign to bring back Tiamat to the Forgotten Realms. Their armies mass at the Well of Dragons, ready to begin the final ritual. To stop them, the heroes must journey around the world from the Sea of Moving Ice to distant Thay. If they fail, all of Faerun will fall before the Tyranny of Dragons. It offers a complete guide to running a Tyranny of Dragons for characters that have completed the introductory campaign Lost Mine of Phandelver, and it contains everything you need to run Rise of Tiamat, including guides to every chapter, a standardized milestone leveling scheme, complete stat blocks for 3 worm speakers, an additional attack for the Cult Strikes Back, bonus scenario, quick streamlined mass combat rules for running the final battle at the Well of Dragons. Even if you didn't start at Lost Mine, you can use this to make Rise of Tiamat an unforgettable experience. I like these books that kind of supplement an existing publication or multiple ones. Not everybody's been a DM for 20 years, right? Some DMs are new, they need some additional information, or maybe they're experienced and they just want to see what else is out there, what options are available to enhance what's there. I mean, some people may play these adventures more than once with different groups, and so maybe taking this supplement and adding something from this supplement into the adventure will make it a unique experience. So if they play it somewhere else, it's different the next time. It's always going to be different just due to the dynamics and the players, but even more so because maybe you took a little piece from this supplement that's designed to expand what you have. So this talks about running the adventure here. You're going to see 6 of the 33 pages, running the final battle. So you've got these bonus stat blocks, you've got all these things to help you, traps and puzzles, tomb encounters, you name it, it's here. Council structure says the first council. This council is largely dedicated to introducing the delegates, explaining the situations, and handing out assignments. With a visual aid, this move is pretty quickly establishing the key players for later. So you're going through the Council of Waterdeep here. Verum the White. The most important change you can make to this chapter is to give the characters a fair chance to find the white dragon mask. The party doesn't have to collect all the dragon masks. In fact, they can't and shouldn't, but they should at least have the opportunity to find the real mask instead of being sent on one wild goose chase after another. So again, supplementing what's out there, giving you different options. Adding the white dragon mask to this chapter requires a little work on the adventure background, but makes almost no difference to the gameplay. So I like that they're giving you kind of, if you think of it like a DVD, like the adventure is the DVD, and then this is like the DVD commentary. It's like, okay, so you have your adventure, watching the adventure, and then now you turn on the commentary track and you're hearing like options, things that you could try, different things. The DVD commentaries, normally giving you behind the scenes, but this is kind of like behind the scenes, right? It's saying, hey, don't have them go on a goose chase, wild goose chase. Have them, maybe potentially get these white masks. So I really like that. It's great to see books doing that. And so check it out, $4.95 under Tyranny of Phandelver below in the links. Next we have Storm King's Thunder, Veratrim's Tribal Siege, and I said that as thunder was happening here in Arizona. So quite foreboding, I guess. Says by T.M. Van Dalen. It's $4.21 on sale, and it's for 5th edition, 33 pages. It says fight off an ambitious young green dragon in this expansion for Storm King's Thunder. So it's another expansion. It says it's designed for the Storm King's Thunder campaign. Gives your players extra content during Chapter 3. It brings your party to 𝙬𝙤𝙤𝙠𝙨, a small town located in the Westwood. There they will face off against Veratrim, a young green dragon that is taking control of a local kobold tribe. If the adventurers think they can easily take the weak creatures, they have a surprise headed for them. It's a 5 to 8 hour adventure for Tier 2 characters, optimized for an average party level of 6, and it has enough material for 1 to 2 sessions depending on how thorough your party is. It also works well as a standalone adventurers who are not familiar with Storm King Thunder. So you get a printer-friendly version, high-res maps, including VTT, information, instructions, and so you can see it's got a beautiful wizard's layout with frequent art. And the cover's stunning. Let's look inside here. Oops, alright, I didn't open the full-size preview. There we go. Yeah, that cover's beautiful. Love that. And then there's all kinds of art in here. Got your encounters, and then monsters, magic items, and maps. So very cool background, adventure hook, running the adventure, and then you've got your flow chart for your adventure, VTT information, adjusting the adventure for levels. Very nice. They've got this whole chart helping you figure out how to adjust it. I love that. Pronunciation guide, and then here we go. We're right into Chapter 1, an estimated duration. Says this adventure begins right before the characters leave Tribor. This could be right after the attack on Tribor in Chapter 2, when the characters are getting ready, or whenever they visit Tribor during Chapter 3. So here's the dangerous escort section. It says, over the last couple of 10 days, the long road to the south of Tribor has gotten really dangerous, Alestra says. We've been having trouble getting all of our shipments delivered to the trade and post in 𝙬𝙤𝙤𝙀, a village in the Westwood. North adds, we don't know what's going on, but we fear our merchants are getting robbed. Alestra continues, is there any way you can escort our next shipment to 𝙬𝙤𝙀? So, cool flavor text, encounters on the road that you can have, checkpoints, just all kinds of stuff to enhance, Storm King's Thunder. Let's read another one of these. The pen. In one corner of this old fenced-off area are 3 pig carcasses which look relatively fresh. The fences are broken in a couple of places, with some of the damage looking old and some of it looking like a giant was recently too lazy to just step over the gate. So that's good. Yeah, very cool. I like this a lot. Yeah, this is cool. I mean, the art is great. Lots of options to expand. The Storm King's Thunder. Great layout. I just don't know what more you could want. Lots of maps. Again, take these things, enhance the adventures that you're given, from the official books, and make it more memorable. Make it, something distinct from the original, or just even lengthen it, so that you can build a whole campaign out of just even one adventure book from Wizards of the Coast. So really good job. I like this a lot. So check it out. Veratrim's Tribal Siege in the links below. And that's our last title for the week. So please follow me on Twitter at Splinterverse, and Facebook, Splinterverse, all the places I'm at Splinterverse. Please consider buying our books. They're all on sale. You've got Potions Unlocked on DriveThruRPG, and Vendrickton's Libram of Lineages on DM's Guild. It's, I think, $285 right now, so it's a steal. And Potions Unlocked is also less than the normal $9.99. I think it's $8 something. So great time to buy those. Check those out. Support the channel. Click those links. Buy anything on those links, and we get some affiliate revenue, which helps the channel. Also, you're supporting these wonderful creators that we get to showcase every week. And please keep watching. Share the video. Subscribe. Like the video. Help us get monetized, and share the word about this series so people can find all these great creators. And until next time, happy adventuring.